Yeah, and that's another reason why I think that G2 probably have won this veto. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? Because you still have to execute, you still have to win the maps that are up against you. But in terms of Ancient, I think they have such an incredibly powerful team. You got Mattis, Nertz, as you just highlighted, Heavy God is no scrub. And even Hunter. Like, Hunter's actually been individually playing quite well at this event, more so than some of his teammates as well. He's still very much a fragging IGL when he needs to be. So I would expect G2 to come out ahead. But we also have seen ParaVision as of late drop off quite hard. Before that, though, they were setting the world on fire, so there's no reason they can't get back to that level. That being said, we're ready to jump into our 1-2 elimination match.
How right you are. And it's going to be the full-on execute. You could see that from the positions and from the utility and everything else. And I think for Nertz, it's not about fighting to the death here. It's got to be about trying to find one kill, set up for the retake. You know you're going to have to do that. They do have the smoke kit combinations. My favorite thing to point out, as you guys know by now, on the CT side. That means this round is winnable no matter what happens. And I'm glad that they don't fight here, G2. You already committed to not defending the bomb site. There's no reason to change your mind in the last possible second. It starts with Heavy God getting the headshot on Cello, and we're off to the races here. A very important match for both these organizations, and both must win it. Sunpius will take down Belchanok. It's Nota finally answering back, getting a kill on the ParaVision side here, but James is put some pressure here. The Glock not connecting. Sunpius keeps hunting them down, and that kit is already in play. You could see, even doesn't matter how many kills they're getting here on the T side, they can't stop the defuse. Great retake and a great protocol for G2.
Yeah, especially when you start to be multiple players behind, the smoke goes down, and you're pretty sure that a kit's in play. It just forces you into such awkward encounters, like coming out into the open, essentially trying to deny the bomb plant while simultaneously killing 2 or 3 other players. It's just too much. It's sensitive overload, or sensory overload, I should say. And they end up going down as a result. So G2 off the mark in fine form. Interestingly, they opt to go for no SMGs. All rifles across the board, including a FAMAS for Mattis, a man of great culture.
See if he can put it to use back there. Okay, nice little spray down. So far, so good. He gets the headshot on Nota. Very impressed by Hunter's ability to track someone at range with the M4A1. That's actually really cool. And this entire round has been nullified. ParaVision not going to have any impact any longer. In the previous match, this is where you would have seen like a couple of mistakes on the CT side. I'd be disappointed if we see G2 try and do too much here. You already got 2 people that are tagged up. If you try and fight and hunt for kills or anything else weird like that, there's a chance you get up a rifle. Maybe there's a bomb plant on the T side. None of that is necessary. Just hold on, get dug in onto the sites, and make sure that they don't get away with anything weird here, ParaVision.
Yeah, and they're a team that kind of the reputation precedes them with James. They're going to take their sweet time. They're not necessarily going to run in. It's one of the cool kind of evolutions and adaptations that James made after his VP departure. A lot of people thought, honestly, his career was probably cooked. Then he dropped down into Tier 2, Tier 2.5, and kind of reinvented himself. A lot more explosive T-round calling. But for the most part, in this round, it's going to be just saving the Galil more than likely, I'd imagine. Although he is actually going for this one. He's making moves through Interconnector. They're going to be pivoting off that Palace player, which is Belchanok. But James gone down, and the Tech-9, try as it may, is not going to be able to prevail against the Crossfire. And Sunpius is the man to put him down.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea that they try to make that work last second, because it could be playing against the expectation of G2. Everyone, well, I think in the chat was already spamming James time, which, you know, you talked about the downfall of James, right? Like after winning the Rio Major, he, like, I've never seen someone go from like the top of the world to just disappearing right afterwards. It happened so quickly. They tried to change their style even before we switched to MR12, by the way. It was still in MR15 when James gave up on doing as much saving and playing as slow as they did, and that just didn't work out for them at all. And then we took away, you know, some of his rounds, and then he had to go and reinvent himself, and he's actually, I think, done that very successfully. But unfortunately, weirdly, the end to the story now feels like, yes, even in spite of all of that, this team is showing troubles now. Like the ParaVision of last year was so much more dangerous and impressive, and that's a bit of a shame, really. But I'm hoping they can turn it around. They've lost a player early on here, and they took a little bit of grenade damage on Cello, so unlikely that you're going to have a big impact in a round like this one. But again, any Deagle headshot you can get, you'll take them.
should be a bit of a formality, a bit of a clean-up, janitorial duties for the rest of G2, as Nurse is going to pad his stats alongside Hunter. And this round will come to a close, not without casualties. James does put down Hunter with a P250, and so at least one weapon does need to be replenished. And yeah, I do agree with you. It has been like a pretty stark drop-off from ParaVision. I just feel like James and Dastan, James in particular, though, in this regard, obviously being the IGL calling the shots, and often like builds the strategies around him as the AWPer. I think you really have to buy into his culture of Counter-Strike. And if people start like doubting that, that's where you're going to see people drop off the edge of a cliff, because you're either all in with James or you're just not a part of his plans whatsoever.
I think that's absolutely true, yes. And Shui and Belchon are still young players. Maybe they're having a hard time with it. Heavy God not struggling whatsoever. 20 bullets in the M4A1. He does step into the flames, but nonetheless, it's a really sick triple spray down that he had with the limited ammunition. Sway and Belchinock, speaking of those two, they're right in my crosshair. They were in the Stan's crosshair as well, and if they could clutch this round, it would be huge. Sway, though, in a 1 versus 3 now, as Belchinock got himself killed a bit too early for my taste here, and he can't hide forever. This isn't a hide and wait. This is a fight and try and make it a 1v1 kind of moment. If you're stuck back here, they're going to all jump you at the same time. Mattis takes him down. Not necessarily going to blame Sway for this one. It's always going to be a very, very hard clutch when you're in that 1v3 in the corner. But Heavy God setting them up quite nicely.
No, it factors into what you said. Like, Belchinock needed to survive a bit longer there to really allow Zway someone to pivot off and get crossfires in. At least the bait and switch, just anything. And you're spot on. When you're stuck at Firebox, the only way for you to survive is to come out and pay the blood toll. You know, like, take as many enemies down as possible. You're not going to be able to just sit there forever. I can see what Belchinock was doing. He was trying to open up a bit of space on CT. If he gets that kill on CT, it changes the entire dynamic of that retake. But G2, they're off to a 4-0, and Heavy God's looking good, man. Big triple in that round, 7-2. He's a difficult player to contend with when he's feeling it.
Oh, no question. He's going to be one of the players that could really push G2 over the line, so to speak. Samphai is probably another player that people are going to be watching for. At one point, considered to be, you know, one of the stronger AWPers in the world, but I feel like there's been lots of sort of ups and downs as of late, which is a bit of a shame, really. Speaking of somebody revitalizing their career, I would say Hunter has been on that path too. If you remember, like at one point, he just looked so over it. And he even said it. He said he had trouble adjusting to CS2. Didn't feel like the game really sort of vibed with him. I'm so impressed by his sort of individual comeback into the game.
No, 100%, man. Yeah, 100%. When he joined G2 back in, what was it, 2019, I think? 2020, 2019. Yeah, he kind of played multiple different roles. He was kind of like an entry fragger, then he was a support, then he went to IGLing, and a lot of people kind of wrote him off, like you said. He's only 30, though. So, I mean, in terms of IGLing, he's got plenty of years left ahead of him. So, one hell of a way to get his career back on track with this G2 team.
He's got 20 more years to even catch up to Carrigan at this stage. Not doing that. Heavy God does go down. Sway with the follow-up. The AKs are cracking the skulls on the A-bomb side, and it keeps going. Noter and Belchinock. Look at the firepower here for ParaVision. This is how I associate this team. This is what I want to see out of them. I want this kind of firepower with the very, very tricky and I would say, frankly, intelligent nature of the way that James plays the game. If you can have both, then that's where this team is dangerous. And the kind of openings that we just did see on the A-bomb site, that's got to be the lifeline of a team like this one. Very well played, and unfortunately for the side of G2, they just can't shut it down this time around. Hunter getting a kill, but that's about all they're going to get.
Yeah, I was gonna like kind of pivot off that and say, well, earlier in the event they had all the brains but none of their brawn. But then I remembered that T side on Inferno, and now I'm not so sure anymore, Anders. Because it was, we're hitting B every single round. We're playing into Luchov, who got 27 kills in the first half. And at no point did James think, maybe we go A site and don't play into the guy that's just having a life game right now.
Well, while we're here with just a quick moment of respite here, a quick check-in with the chat. Do you want to take a guess what they're talking about, Vince? If you don't look, what's the topic of conversation, do you think?
James time, probably, is it?
Close. They're discussing right now. Apparently, Turkey's invented colors and oxygen. So Turkey as a country or as a culture is getting a lot of credit for a lot of things. So that's not what I was expecting either, if I'm going to be totally honest. I would say the most important thing Turkey's invented is food. And I'm not just making like the kebab memes, like Turkish food in general is unreal. If you ever get a chance to go and try it, like I've had the chance a couple of times now, actually in Turkey, it's amazing. Don't know why we're talking about that, but that's on you guys, unfortunately, in the chat. I can't take responsibility for this one. We're back in, though. The timeout is resuming, so 4-1, Vince.
It is indeed 4-1. Finally some success for ParaVision. They're going to have full AKs behind that one. And now the question for G2 is, are you going to try and occupy this A site a little bit different? Because that was pretty straightforward. Just walking through on ramp, nothing too crazy with the set play, and it still got them a ton of success. They're going to be darting down into underpass. Nerds is actually taking it with the AK right now. So need to be careful about this one. Highly behind the smoke. Sway has called this as a distinct possibility, but Hunter through the smoke finishes off Nota.
Some important kill to begin with, but Nuts might be in danger. I think they suspect that smoke is so suspicious that something could be up. Oh, they weaken another one. This one's deeper. He actually could be a genius for this. Yeah, that second smoke makes sure that Shui can't even easily get the kill in return. He will get it through the smoke nonetheless, but that's the timing and the depth of that second smoke actually makes it a little bit more doable for Nuts to potentially escape. Just couldn't this time, but they still have a man lead. And G2 want to get right back to winning. They let ParaVision back in that previous round with some sick entries, admittedly from the T side. But they want to put a close to it right away.
Well, we've seen signs of life from ParaVision, but that pulse is getting dangerously weak again. And with 50 seconds, and they're very much isolated from one another, segregating Belchanok into the Palace, the other two players in underpass, walking over the corpse of Nertz. But he's already done his job. Hunter in a really strong position here in ladder room. Gives a ton of intel, allows Sunpius to stay in his angle with the orb. But additionally, he can factor back and have a quick check into the window boost. Deals fatal damage to Jame. Didn't see a second player there in his way, but you've only got 20 seconds left, and Belchanok is only just starting to emerge outside of Palace. The timing does favor him. Can take down Mattis. Molotov may buy him up a bit of time to get across to the bomb, and maybe get this planted. Zway's also neutralized Hunter. A 2v4 possible.
Ooh. What a flick from Sunpius. He catches Sway. It must have been by the ankles as he dives by. But you're right to be surprised. I can't believe that they've actually made their way back into this round here. Belchanok looking for anything that he could get at all here. It's going to be low on health. 25 of them left. He catches Sunpius in the air. Shut down the Spaniard. And the question is, can he survive Heavy God who's coming in on the other side? Straight headshot. No fear at all in the eyes of Heavy God as he finds his 8th victim. And G2 will pick up a 5th round here. That is such a close one. Honestly, it's kind of cool to see ParaVision come back and almost win that round. It should have been more one-sided.
Yeah, it gives me faith. It does. And that's something that I've been distinctly lacking. I think you two have been in the same boat, Anders, of what we've seen previously. Those rounds before in the event, they would have just lost out without getting any kills, let alone making it close. I mean, this is a 4v2 with really strong positions on G2. So if anything, you can maybe point a finger and say, like, how did you even allow this to get into a post plant and a really scrappy 1v1? But it is 5-1 regardless.
It is, but it's also the kind of round where it gives hope for ParaVision to come back straight away. Boost on over the smoke, and Nuts, he's going to fall for it. He wasn't expecting them to be on top of it there. It does mean the economy is immediately put under some pressure there for the G2 side. Only surviving with one person at the end of the last round. And now they've changed their minds. Honestly, if they follow through this execute within the next 10 or so seconds, they could have a pretty good timing. But you can tell it has to be quick because Hunter and Mattis has started the return to the A-bomb site.
Yeah, they have just in time. Molotov's now coming down onto Sandwich. There's a smoke over on Staircase. Flashes through, but it's not going to affect Mattis, who will feel like he should have done better. Now Heavy God is going to be activated one more time, and the Heavy God puts down 3. Takes Shadow, makes it his own, and makes all the T's disappear alongside Hunter.
I've rarely seen such smooth gameplay. My God, I need to rewatch that at least 10 more times. How did he do it? He goes in for the first one. He repositions for the drop down. Not even like they can almost drop down like a full 180 degrees in front of him, but he picks the exact perfect lineup, and then he's ready for the next guy coming down the ladder as well. What an absolute psycho. Now Shui will find himself in a very unfortunate position here. 1 versus 3, and he's getting flanked as well. Yeah, Heavy God is back to finish what he started. He's got the triple. He wants the quad here, and I think he's going to get it as well. Timing could not be better. It's no time anyway for the bomb plant here, but yeah, up to 12 kills and just 3 deaths. He's dominated the start of this game.
Man, he swooped by and took a huge chunk out of them like a great white. He came back to finish them off. The chum in the water was more than enough for him to get interested. It is so exquisite, though. It's not just the aim. It's the anticipation of expecting that players will drop down from each of those angles in that sequence. It looks... he makes it look easy, but it really isn't.
I think it proves a point that I've been trying to sort of say for many years now, which is that, you know, flicking and having crazy aim, that's what you do to make up for the fact that your crosshair was in the wrong position. When your crosshair every time is that perfect, it doesn't have to look, you know, amazing when it comes to the flicks, but it looks so smooth. Like, it's like they're just sort of walking into the shots all the time. It's hard to do what he just did, even though he made it look so easy. 6-1, and now the pressure is back on PVISION, unfortunately. Money is going to be better once again. You can see some highs with almost 8.5k there on the CT side. PVISION need more rounds right now.
They do. They've had a couple of close rounds, but it doesn't mean anything if you can't convert. And then now backs against the wall, quite figuratively and literally in terms of their mid presence, taking nade damage, losing a player already. Heavy God's dinked, but he has a little bit of support there. Down on ramp, they do a bit of damage themselves. Shello's down to 2 HP off those grenades.
Yeah, they had a fight with him earlier, and then they hunted him down and actually double naded him in a very, very deep corner that normally you'd never see the CTs throw grenades at. So kind of unexpected. James here. What is he going to be able to do? Looking for just the toes of anyone on the other side. That's all he needs. But Hunter will catch Shui. And that was the only mid presence. There's nobody else coming from middle. And they hear that. They know the jump. They hear the Singe, I think, and Belchenok as well. So already in a lot of trouble here. Nerds will go down, but we're talking about 18 seconds on the clock. The round is run down so low, there should be no way for PVISION to get through on this one. In fact, Heavy God dies. That doesn't even matter. Even that, they get a free kill once again on Heavy God, who steps into the flames, but it has no impact on the round.
His only weakness is fire, Anders. You can't frag him with the bullets. It has to be the flames. But as you say, it makes no difference. Like, they can easily replenish these weapons. You got 11k on St. Pius. It's still 7-1 in favor of G2. So even when some small mistakes creep in, it doesn't really have any consequences. PVISION still unable to get any kind of a stranglehold over on this T side. And again, this is their choice of map. And it's one that they have historically struggled on.
Oh, yes, indeed. And they're proving exactly why that's the case at the moment. Their T side is just not that exciting, unfortunately. We are talking about a captain in James that normally is very tricky, like the fakes and the deep mind games and all the rest of it. We're not getting an opportunity to talk about much of that at the moment. Cello's going to be taking down matches, though. That's a very good start. We appreciate that. Is there going to be a response, though, for G2? This is where you could justify, you know, pushing the palace with one person or doing some other CT side aggression. They're stacking the A bomb site, which is a kind of risk as well, potentially in response to losing that player. So in spite of the fact that PVISION are going to be going for the full A execute, it's not an automatic win in spite of them getting the opening here. This could be another heartbreaking moment. Yeah, there's Heavy God pushing the palace I was just talking about, but he gets caught. Belchenok finds the better timing, and Nerds overworked in this position. Way too many people he never wants. St. Pius, the last man standing, and he gets the first shot. That's great. He shouldn't be allowed to get many more. They should be able to dodge him from now.
Throws the smoke down preemptively because he wants to focus his attention towards the palace entrance or exit, depending on which way the T's want to take it. But it also affords him the luxury of saving. You're 7-1 in the lead. Love this call. You got an AK. You got plenty of money in the bank. You don't want to throw these weapons away. Play for the big picture. You still are very much in the driver's seat. Don't need to force anything. Obviously sucks from the players' perspectives. They're going to be fancying their chances. They're feeling red hot right now with how this half has gone. But you have to tip your hat and say, fair enough, PVISION, you got us this time. We'll run it back next.
Oh yeah, I think there's not a lot of chances to do anything. I think Sampai's reading the fact that he wasn't going to be allowed to repick that easily. Even if they didn't have a lot more utility on the T side, it's just very unlikely that you're going to get a lot more kills there. So I think it's a reasonable choice, even if we always want to see them try and fight for some of those rounds. This definitely was the better long-term plan. 7-2. Not too late either, I guess, for PVISION. Like, we sound perhaps a bit negative about them so far, but if they can get up to even 4 rounds in this first half, that's not great, but it's definitely serviceable in terms of staying competitive in the game. So I don't want to write them off just yet. We'll see how far they can get. Again, the money is not infinite either, to be honest. G2 gotta be careful themselves that they don't end up running out of money, and then they're letting PVISION straight in the game.
Yep, no doubt. Oh, the smoke being blown open. Timing there was so grim for Nota. And Sun Pius, with a smile on his face, just strolls back onto catwalk. They got the hit and run they were looking for. They've derailed any kind of aggression from PVISION, who have got up close underneath the window, but there's a smoke there to greet them. They're looking to boost in, though. And at the moment, no one's here for the window. Only Hunter, but he's playing a bit more passive. Meanwhile, they do get aggressive in Palace, but no one's home.
Yeah, and they're going to leave one of those people there and then start to fall nerds a little bit further back. Now, Hunter should be part of his position and his protocol here to basically assume that they could have been boosted into the window. So he has to keep an eye on it at all times. And if he goes away, he's got to tell Nerds about the fact that they could have been there. Ooh, Nerds is going to spot them early. Doesn't get the immediate kill, though. And 45 seconds on the clock. They managed to get rid of him. That late player, though, flanking in is Heavy God. They know that he's playing here. They've got him nameplated. They know that he's got to be somewhere. They just don't know if it's Palace or Ramp, and it turns out it's going to be the Ramp. Belchinock shook a little bit behind this one, and still a one-man lead for G2, who are setting up another retake. PVISION need this round so badly. If they want a chance to fight for Mirage, then this round is it for the entire first half. Otherwise, they might not have another chance at it. Hunter's going to get an opening kill, starting the retake. Cello, it's a good spray down, but he himself is low on health. Still gets the headshot on Hunter. That's what we like to see. Couldn't get the flick onto Heavy God, but the time has run down low here, and James just has to live for another second. He won't be able to. I don't think they can defuse the bomb any longer, unfortunately. Looked like it was going to be close enough on the first one. Oh my God, they just do it. That's got to be one of the closest defuses yet here on the B stream. I really thought that James had lived long enough on that one.
There was milliseconds, Anders, but what a beautiful couple of headshots onto James down in con. That defuse is not happening. If he stays alive just another second, it's over. But what a back-breaking moment for PVISION. You fought your way back in through just pure grit and resolve on those entry frags just to lose it anyway. Great shot from Sun Pius. Mattis doing the cross, thanking the gods above for that round.
Yeah, Heavy God looked super chill about it. Like, he was already doing the fist bump saying, yeah, we got it. So I guess his internal clock is better than the rest of us, but that looked like it was too close. Nerds and Hunter, they start here. It's already just Shui and Belchinock that are left. And you know what? I said the crosshair was going to be on. They've been getting kills in this half right now. It's just that on the other side, Hunter and Heavy God have been way too much to deal with. And now that they've added the Spanish sniper in Sun Pius on top, they can't overcome it. PVISION, they don't have the firepower right now. That's a bit of an issue. Shui in a 1 versus 4. And again, you can't expect him to clutch this one. So G2 looking to get to 9 rounds. The best PVISION are going to be able to get is another one after this round.
I mean, I don't want to be that guy that keeps harping on this, Anders, but like, you picked this map, PVISION, and you've been struggling on it for so long. I was expecting to see some kind of movement forward, you know, some evolution, some adaptation. You're getting banged out 9-2. You've barely been involved in half of these rounds. You've just been getting wrecked without any losses of life. You've had a couple of very close ones, 1v1s, you know, close time on the bomb fuse, but you've been played off of the server so far, and this is your choice of map. It's so grim. So when he tries, he may. I mean, these kills mean nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Counter-terrorists win.
Yeah, that is, I think that's totally fair criticism. If you're going to get a map like this one through, at least you need one map in a veto like this one that you look and feel more comfortable on. And there hasn't been a lot of that at the moment here. Again, Heavy God's been a real nuisance over at that shadow position. That's not the whole story here. Nerds in the middle, and Hunter as well. They've been making life difficult for PVISION, trying to get some mid-control to set up more of these rounds. And now we're going into the last round of the half. It is going to be PVISION. Another attempt to see if they can do this.
Oh, spray. So good from Heavy God again, man. You just can't take him out of this server.
Yeah, you really can't. Shui and Belchinok left 2 versus 4 to try and see if they can get this done. And the bomb ticking away. Oh, Sun Pius finds one right at the start. He's 12 and 2. And Shui trying to see. I mean, it's going to be a miracle. It's not even giving him an opportunity. Another one picked up here. And that is going to be very, very interesting. By the way, I think our graphic at the start might have been wrong. If I'm looking at HLTV, it says that G2 picked the map. So I don't know if maybe...
Oh, that would make a lot more sense.
Right. I feel like at the beginning we had a different kind of outlook, but interesting. Regardless, we're going to get into it. Second half is coming up. 10-2 lead in favor of G2. What do we even make of that? It would make more sense if it was the other way around, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like I was even thinking when the graphic showed, I'm like, yeah, PVISION don't have a great win percentage on this map, boys. Are you sure this is the way you want to be going? This would make a lot more sense. G2, then, this is a punish pick. Right, that changed the entire narrative. I'm
going to be honest, it's also possible that I just completely misremember who picked what, because that first game might have just completely thrown us off guard. Some of you guys weren't here for it. It was a wild game. Regardless, just to correct the record a little bit, it is going to be the other way around. But yeah, I guess for G2, nonetheless, the CT side is very, very strong at the moment. Don't know if there are many holes that we could poke in it right now. Hard to even think of a lot of criticism you could come up with the way that they've been playing it here. For PVISION, once again, there was a couple of rounds where the entries looked very, very good. And apart from that, it just hasn't been that impressive.
It hasn't, no. I mean, the thing is, though, even if this isn't PVISION's pick, which I've checked and I'm going to agree, and it isn't theirs, you picked to start T-side? Really?
Yeah, and I think typically you would expect more out of PVISION on a map like this one, right? Don't have the highest win rate, but they played a ton. So definitely hoping that they could have delivered more. Nota starts well with the dualies. Hunter will get the 1 kill here. It's Cello on a quick return as they look to at least pick up the pistol round, and that could set them off on a bit of a comeback mission. Oh, nice shutdown as he was trying to jump away there. Desperation for Heavy God. His Sun Pius 1 versus 3. The bomb planting never came through, and through all of that, it's going to be Cello, a quad kill. He is going to clean up the round for his team. A little bit labored getting that kill on Heavy God, but it's a job well done. And now the question, I suppose, is, winning the pistol round here in the second half, is that enough to change the outcome?
It'll have to be brick by brick, won't it? I mean, Dastan was talking to Banks in the interview saying how much he desperately wants to get to the playoffs. And I'm sure that he's had very stern conversations. Like you say, he's a guy that doesn't mind giving it to people straight, telling them the truth, being blunt even. So they'll know exactly what the expectations are right now of these guys. And it's a horrendous start. You pick T-side, you got 2 rounds. Incredibly dicey and grim affair. But we know they are good enough to bring this back. There's no doubting that, and G2 looked great on that CT side, but obviously now Heavy God's not going to be able to dominate as hard on the ramp, playing more static and allowing them to push into him on Shadow. He's going to have to be taking the initiative, and there is a chance that they drop off a little bit, and that's where PVISION can maybe start to make a move back into this one.
Close now with the Deagle. If you find one opening, there is a chance for the bomb site to fail here on the defense, but they don't offer themselves up. I mean, that's fine. You don't really have to take the fight there if you're Sway. Throw out the smoke and slow the game down just a little bit. They don't have that much to work with, or really nothing at all on the T side. So giving them a potential Deagle opening is never going to be worth it. Hunter investigating if he can find anyone at all in the window. There is James back there who's been having a hard time on the scoreboard, right? He's got 2 kills in the game so far. Delta started to pick it up a little bit. Interesting with the Glock coming through. Cello, it's very wild spray, but he does get 2 at least, and that kind of slows down a little bit. A couple more casualties, and a third one here for Belgian. I think now we've reached the limit where it's no longer acceptable. You lose that many to a Deagle and Glocks. That's hard to deal with.
Yeah, that is a bitter pill to swallow, isn't it? Like, you've won the round, but you don't feel good about it whatsoever. You know that now there's going to be a plethora of AKs up against you. James also can't afford an AWP because of all of this. So it's full M4s and an MP9. And you are also hanging by a thread on this map. You know if you lose this, your money is basically gone, and you're one step out of the first map this quickly, this abruptly. James smoked off. HE is decent, just tickles Sun Pius, but it will stall them a little bit longer while they wait behind the smoke.
Belgianok playing a little bit more towards that short position at the moment. And it's going to be Cello playing over towards the connector. It's kind of interesting. I think they've switched that around from last time we've seen them. Cello goes down to some highs at the beginning, and that launches the attack onto the A bomb site. Fire everywhere. Matt gets through the smoke as they blow it open. It's going to be Belgianok going down. 3 people dead already. Heavy God with a 3rd kill. Headshot onto Nota. It couldn't really get any cleaner. Picking up the rifles, they may look like it's just an easy walk in the park here for the G2 side of things. And Shui and James, unless you're sticking around to go for the latest defuse ever possible, it's probably better to walk away, but they're doubling up on this. I mean, like we've said this before, sometimes the T's run away faster than they should, and you can run in and kind of smoke the bomb and kill 1 or 2 people and defuse. I feel like Shui walking away is suggesting that's not going to be the play any longer. But you'd love to see it. Come on, James. No.
Oh, man. I thought the reasons way... I honestly thought the reasons way through that smoke down was to bait them that they were both saving in the marketplace, and then James was going to go for the defuse. But that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I was thinking something similar, but they were probably too far away to hear that anyway. It's interesting to me because the best position for the best role that Silo's got on on any map is actually playing B short on Mirage, which I think is where he would know. That's where he normally plays when we get to watch him. But recently, I guess he's been switching it around a little bit. So that's actually an interest. I don't know if that's going to last. I guess we'll see in some of these rounds if they play enough CT rounds. But maybe him and Belgianok have traded places a little bit, because normally Belgianok's playing the A lurk role and Steele's playing B lurk, if you want to put it like that. But it's been swapped around a bit, which I don't know what to make of that, to be honest. I don't know if that's good news or bad news if they're doing that in the middle of of a tournament, or at least coming into a tournament perhaps.
Well, especially considering things have been going pretty pear-shaped for them lately, and it hasn't been working out anywhere near as convincingly as they'd be hoping for. And those are the kind of changes that very well could put you on somewhat of a recovery path. So it is oftentimes teams will try and figure out, like, why is this map getting away from us? Is someone out of their comfort zone? Oh, the damage there off middle is huge. Sunpius down to 6, Nerds 52. Unconfirmed damage. But that's going to keep them away from mid anytime soon. They're scared to keep pressing forward in case a stray bullet kills them.
Once again, swapping out their positions a bit here. So maybe that is just the way that it is going forward. Very interested to see if Belgianok is going to be more comfortable. It could be one of those things where he's been vying for that role. Shui is going to be over on that other side as well. He's got Incendiary thrown out already, but they're kind of running through. It's on Belgianok to pick it up. Nice mid-air spray down. Catches Nert before he even touches the ground. And Shui's going to get some work done with the MP9 on top of it. Hunter and Sunpius, they're low on health. I thought they had done enough here, G2, or at least had set up the round once they get past the Incendiary, but they get caught trying to get onto it, so now it is going to be just 2 people alive, and the rest of the team is starting to show up here for PVISION, so not going to get any easier. Hunter, 1 kill will not do it. PVISION starting to claw their way back and cement a little bit of something here on the CT side.
Yeah, they're building a bit of a foundation, at the very least. They also trade up to a couple of AKs. That's always good news. I really do think that early damage, though, up on middle, completely neutralizing their aggression. Ideally, I think they went into that round assuming they were going to go for a B wrap. And then as soon as they take that much damage and Sun Pius and Nert, it's like, oh, we have to pull the plug. Let's just try and hit B. It totally took them off that two-dimension sort of pronged hit, which made it so much easier for ParaVision to hold on with their position. So, cool little change, a turn of events that ParaVision will be happy about, but they can't take their eyes off the prize. You can see the VRS forecast. It's pretty even between the two of them. I mean, their ranking is literally 11th and 12th. So not too much is going to change in that regard. It would just be a small point increase for ParaVision by the looks of things.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know, going into the major for a team like ParaVision, you know, they've already talked about wanting to potentially make changes after the major, but if they can start to regain even a little bit of confidence in a game like this one, I mean, if they could defeat G2 here, I think that would be a good step in the right direction. So even if the VRS stuff is not immediately a threat to them, I feel like building confidence, moving forward is the big mission that ParaVision are trying to accomplish at the moment. Nerds investigating that underpass position. They do have Heavy God up in the Palace. He's one of those players that you're going to find him in the Palace so often when G2 play this T side. It's more often than not. And even though that might make it a bit predictable, he's so hard to clear out and get rid of. So I'm sure that ParaVision will know this. Not sure if they know how to kind of stop him or prevent him from having some success up there.
Molly down. Going to try and close the gap just a little bit. Mattis lining up his smoke as well for window. It's going to be coming through momentarily. Also lining up smokes for the B side. And the bomb is in the arms of Nert. He's had a bit of a slow game himself at 5 kills, but Heavy God and the rest of the troops have been delivering. Heavy God speak to the man, and he will deliver more. Mattis goes in with another kill, and suddenly Zway and Jame are the only two that remain, but they're on the site, and Jane gets the element of surprise. 30 seconds left. They have to pull the plug and run straight over onto the A side.
Oh, it's Sway that has to stop them. He's in the smoke, jumping straight out. Oh, the desperation. He knew that he had to do something to make them slow down. And now Jane against the world. 4 people left. He killed one of them, and Nertz will take him down right afterward. I think the thing that really pressured Sway in that moment was the fact that you know, there's only like, it's very limited time. If he can stop the bomb, if he can slow them down, he might not have realized how many people are on the other side here. Matt is really good opening kill in the middle here, and Heavy God, like you said, following it up. G2 marching their way to victory on the opening map, which is pretty good. Dust2 going to be second, and that'll be cleared up some of the confusion that we might have helped to make ourselves. This is the map pick of G2.
It certainly is, yes. And they're looking every bit as comfortable as you would come to expect. ParaVision, they do often pick the T side first, but my main issue with that is if you're going to pick the T side first, you cannot be justifying 2 rounds. Like, that's just terrible. You're putting yourself in such a horrible spot at that point going into the second half, and 2 rounds just wasn't enough. Like, I'm speaking like this map is over. I can't see how they're going to survive for 7 rounds in a row. This round, you've got a couple of pistols in play. G2 are looking so on point. 21 kills for Heavy God.
Yeah, I think that fact alone is kind of hard to overcome. But yeah, I can't see it. I guess the first round will be the hardest one. You look at this, they've got the double M4s, they've got the scout, and some pistols for the rest of it. So I guess if they can win this one, maybe it could inspire a bit of confidence in the rest of it. But it is going to be a long old 7 rounds for them at this stage here. And G2 trying to keep it real simple, which I think is a nice idea. Another A execute. They've done well so far. I can't explain it, but somehow the 5-7 cuts down Hunter. Cello, he was so blind behind that flashbang, and he still found the kill somehow. Nota following it up, but he can't make it a double. And they need more of this, though. They need the multi-frags. Scouts now towards that ticket booth. And Belchunok waiting for the smoke to fade. Bomb is not planted yet, which is one of the advantages here for ParaVision going into the fight. More damage to Sun Pius. They might come out on top here, ParaVision. Look at the health that's left here on the G2 side. Nice flick. Jame. That is what we want. Through the box. And Nertz is out of the round.
Heavy God making moves. He is still healthy. Still a real threat. as he looks to try and eradicate that CT box position, hunting his prey. Sway in the meanwhile, though, is double stacking that position. Sun Pius is trying to hold the angles up onto a jungle. But Heavy God is hearing all of this noise from James, is now starting to make a move in, anticipates that Short is going to have a player, and he's correct on that. Lands the kill, super low HP, but still gets a second, and is trying to put an end to this map right here, right now. James takes down Sun Pius, 15 seconds to go, and who's going to blink first in this game of chicken? It's all down to Heavy God. He needs to make the moves in, and James is going to get put down from the GOAT again to take the first map 13-5.
What an absolutely grotesque clutch coming out from Heavy God. I really can't believe it. You're right. He heard the jumping, and then he decides to clear out the short side of B and then get the kill. Is that? There we go. Coach is locked in. Soar is ready to get everyone online as well. He's got some real experience as a coach, obviously, coming from Ents way back in the day.
Yeah, he was up there, man. Like, I think probably sort of 6 to 12 months ago, the kind of underrated or like the tier 2 coaches, or whatever you want to call them, it was pretty much him and Ash. They were definitely up there. Cyclone was another one as well that people were expecting that may make a huge move. But here we go. Enough about the coaches, because we're focusing on the players. And Dust 2 kicking straight off with a flashbang out, perfectly connects onto most of the T's. There's a second one there, and they pick up the kill on Notta.
Double counter flash protocol for the A-long position. Oh my god! He was in the air! Heavy God! There's no way that he just hit that shot! No, Sway's not going to be ready. Nertz was patiently waiting for Heavy God to do his stuff on that side, and he peeks in while Sway was trying to reload. Oh, I'd love to see that from Heavy God's point of view. I think that's going to be a disgusting kill. Jame and Belchinok, it's not too late to turn this around, but you must win this fight. And he commits to it there. That just puts it back in contention, but hold the phone. Hunter, he could get stabbed right here. Belchinok, he's hoping that there's going to be a second play. He's looking out of the corner of his eyes right now. If you're confused, he wants to see if there's going to be a second CT player that he can kill right now. And otherwise, he might just wait until James gets all the way over here. If he does, then he might get caught as well. Okay, there we go. Kill us through. But James, I think he's going to get intercepted. USP's out. Oh, he missed the chance. This is a round, Vince.
It's just lunacy, isn't it? Like it was a game set and match after those opening 3 picks that G2 got, including a crazy Heavy God flick. But here we are, still with a chance. 25 seconds. They have conceded Belchinok. It's all down to James. You said he's a phenomenal player on Dust 2. You're normally expecting to see it when the AWP is in play, but maybe he can get it done with the pistols. They double stack for the swing. They know time is in their favor. It's all down to James, and he's also running out of ammunition. But most importantly, he's ran out of health. And so G2 will pick up the first round, but what a weird turn of events that ended up being.
Oh, I can't believe it. You're absolutely right about the ammunition as well. I think he was down to about 4 or 5 bullets. He had no more magazines left. Now, there's a chance he could have picked up another gun. There might have been another pistol on the ramp there, but that's not something you want to do with 10 seconds left either. A wild round that just could have gone any number of ways here, but the clock running down low was too much to handle. Now we're going to see a bit of a boost up here. James in the middle. He actually does tag Sanpias, who is on a USP. Oh, yeah, there we go. FAMAS's been picked up. I don't know why he left the FAMAS in spawn, but he did.
People asking why no knife? Because Hunter was out in the open on long. So if anyone was CT or watching from like B side of middle, he could have got killed. There's no need to ever risk that. So he wanted to secure the kill. He was spot on. He was waiting for James to make moves on long side before he took the frag. Yeah,
tempting to go for the knife, but definitely would have been massively risky. They are fully committed to this position. This HE, okay, it's going to be smoke first, but I was going to say an HE right on top of the entire squad here. That could be devastating. There's body armor on James, and everyone else has got nothing. So the right grenade at the right time could make this an impossible round for PVISION. And again, not that you're dreaming of winning this one too much. It'd be nice if you did, but getting a bomb plant and getting some damage is always something that we care about. Smoking off the door from that side is a nice little trick. 50 seconds on the clock, and then this flash that you can set up through the palm tree is impossible to dodge, I think. Here we go, Vince.
This is going to be delicious if he... Oh my god, it's going to happen, isn't it? This could be 200 plus damage done right in the middle of them. Doesn't do as much damage as I anticipated. Belchinok took the brunt of that.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be even more impressive, but they dodge most of it, in fact. James still gets a kill. The bomb plant now is the cherry on top, but I think they're getting denied slowly but surely here. James, all he could do is try and live for another kill. Not going to happen either. Nerds will find him with a grenade. So yeah, never much of a chance in the round. I mean, and they probably knew that on the ParaVision side. But you were hoping for some more kills to put the pressure on the CT side economy. Not the case at the moment. So third round is going to be coming up now. And ParaVision, they will be buying into this one. What have they got on the CT side? Still the FAMAS, still the MP7 on Heavy God. So, yeah, a bit of almost a bonus situation, I would say, for G2.
Yeah, I think so. Especially as James doesn't actually have the AWP either. Flashbang out into the peak, but there's 3 players there. And although he nearly diced up Yellow's on 2 HP, it's not good enough. And that's also an M4 that can trade hands.
That is interesting. I really thought he had the lineup there. They were occupied in middle, and that mid player throws a flash over to set up the peak for Hunter. I actually think it's kind of a cool protocol because not only is the flash being thrown over from their mid player, but he is also occupying their attention. So there was a world in which they could have got all sprayed down. It just wasn't this one. A minute almost here. Sunpias, he will get one, and Mattis thought that was his time to shine, but it was anything but. Zello takes him down. Oh, Molotov is going to burn him up. Sunpias surely can't live. I do love that. Oh, I don't blame him. I mean, panic stations, and he thought there was a way that he could have escaped here. Similar for Zello. It's not going to be flames. It'll be bullets instead, catching him. So a lot of desperation in this round, but we land at about 35 seconds. The bomb is at the A-bomb site, and they will plant it this time. And Nerds and Heavy God don't have the best weapons right now. If you get a shot at this range, though, Nerds, that's going to set up a potential retake almost immediately.
Yeah, and after a bit of a rough Mirage, I think he probably feels like he has a point to prove on this Dust too. He's behind the rest of the pack over there. But this does seem like it's going to be a save. You've got an AK for Heavy God, you've got an M4 for Nerds, and although their money is decent, Hunter down at $0 could really do with a drop. So you tap out of this one, you allow ParaVision on the board, and G2 will be right back to the drawing board again. A couple of awkward moments though. I mean, that flash out into the peak, they lined up. There's another world where he gets a double kill there, 2-for-1 trade in his favor. So a little bit unfortunate. You can see the corpse there on the catwalk side, which was Mattis. Yeah. So nearly got it done.
Yeah, I think if you replay that, there are definitely rounds where it ends up different. But fantastic news for ParaVision. T side of the map, they pick up a fairly early round here. The one thing they could never get going on Mirage was the ability to string rounds together and to kind of keep rolling it forward. That never really worked out for them, but on this map, surely that's within their reach here. They're not going to have the AWP either yet on the T side. Like I said, James fairly highly rated AWPing on this side of the map, so we'll be interested to see if he could bring it out and maybe shut down Sunpias, who does have the AWP now on the CT side.
Yep, nice boon to the overall stature of ParaVision, and a free kill as Nota's patience is repaid. Heavy God was thinking about getting aggressive, but there's 4 players on the other side of the tunnels. He's just going to be shoulder peeking, throw down the smoke. They may very well try and push through this. They decide against it, and that's a wise decision because the Heavy God is hungry, and he just devoured 24 frags in the last map. Do not test him again.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to try and push that. The Heavy God avoids this mistake, but there are sometimes you'll see the CT players in that position. They throw the smoke so deep when they spot someone that the T's just run straight through it. He did throw it sort of middle, but even at a high level of Counter-Strike, sometimes you'll see like a moment of panic and you just toss it into the wall and it bounces way deeper than you think. So didn't happen this time, so we're not going to linger on the point any longer. Sunpias looked like he shot him straight in the hand, but it's not going to be a kill. They do have one more smoke, but if they use it for the cross, I mean, how do they get past Sunpias? They've got a lot of utility, so if they can get Sunpias off the angle, they can start to use the Molotovs to get a little bit closer. Smoke for the crosses up, Molotov for the car. As they try and take a step in, they're all lined up for each other. Sunpias, he steps so deep. I think he could have had one of those kills to begin with, but he wanted to commit to an easier one, and that got him killed in the end. Mattis boosted straight into death. And Heavy God can't get the job done either. Cello with a double kill, Nota with a double kill, and PariVision picking up a crucial round that destroys the economy of the G2 side. They have finally come alive in this game.
Oh, Sunpius was like just a little bit apprehensive, wasn't he? Almost wanted him to go for that swing a little bit earlier because there was like 3 players lined up for him. It was almost guaranteed to be a collateral. Easy for us to say, of course, from our perspective, but it does mean that G2's money has been cut down to size, and now a great opportunity for PariVision after a horrible T-side on Mirage. Already into a strong position here. Mattis flashed and tagged down to 14, but will live to tell the tale. It's only Heavy God that has anything really to speak of here. He's got a Deagle. Everyone else USPs.
Somebody in the chat called him Sun PayPal. I don't even know how to interpret that nickname. Like, was it mean he's running some sick scheme where you have to donate more money to him before he gets kills? Like he's holding the game hostage until you donate? I can't even understand what's happening. That really threw me off. All they've got is USPs. Maybe you can PayPal him and he can buy more rifles. Maybe that's the angle. I'm not sure.
You PayPal him $4,750, maybe you'll get an AWP. Maybe that's the way back into this round then. It's going to be a stack though, and nothing's really happening as you'd expect. It's going to be PariVision dialing the digits and getting themselves a lead for the first time in this entire series. And by the way, if PariVision were to go out 2-0, it would mean the only 2 maps they won were against Fisher College. Every other game they lost 2-0.
Yeah, which you don't want to be saying that. Like, it was really fun to follow the Fisher College storyline, but we knew that the expectations for them was going to be gathering, more experience and kind of getting the feel for things and representing their college more than anything else, perhaps, in the tournament. So, if that's the win that you're going to get, it will feel disappointing to both of these organizations.
Terrorists win.
USPs do nothing. They also don't give over any kills, I suppose. So kind of a mute round here. We'll take it, though, for PariVision, who, again, backs to the wall. If they lose another map here, they are going to get knocked out of the tournament.
Yes, sir. That is the very bleak, very grim, factual standing of things right now. And I'll know it. Dastan knows it too. I'm sure he was very disappointed of what he witnessed over on Mirage. Would be fascinated to hear what kind of speech or what kind of talk he had with the troops before they jumped onto Dust 2. I'm sure it was a stern telling off. There will be no open play for Sunpius, though. So you didn't send him enough, guys. Shame on you.
You didn't. Apparently, it's a meme about getting paid to throw games. So I did kind of guess that was it, although it's really silly. But it's part of the Twitch chat culture. You can't do it. People spamming 322 whenever anything goes wrong. It just is what it is. We're not going to change it, so we just have to accept it. Here we go. It is round number 6. Door smoke has been set up, and it failed. Spectacularly, in fact.
Oh, dear.
Monumental failure. I don't even know. It's great because we have the camera ready in place. Like, I want to imagine there's like a miniature cameraman sat there waiting. It's like, oh, here comes the smoke that I'm going to be waiting for. Not at all.
HU is tossed in as well. There isn't a huge amount of utility to play with, actually, on this G2 side, and they are lacking kits. Could be a potential talking point later into the round. Molotov tossed in. Sunpius has been here a couple of times. We saw an awkward death from him previously in this very position, so he is vacant this time. 3 of the 5 stacked over on B. Middle completely open as a result, as is Catwalk, as PariVision are about to find out firsthand.
Sunpius here, wishing now he did have the AWP all of a sudden. He's alone. Molotov's going to be raining down. He puts down a defensive smoke to try and buy more time so that they're not going to, flank him straight away. It does allow him to run in here, but there's more fire everywhere. And once again, he nearly burns alive, but the grenade will catch him. Oh my god. The smoke absolutely gave him the space to make that rotation. Unfortunately, the Molotov firmly denied any positioning towards that goose spot. And he is so dead. I think you can even see the confusion on his face there as he's running into it. That's why those cameras are so good. That's a brutal way to end your life in the round. Mattis. All right, he's in the fight now, and it's going to be a fight to the death. Belchanok, the one to find him on the other side. PVISION looking much smoother, and maybe G2 as well, showing some signs of problems here.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a rough tournament, you know, coming into this. At the end of the day, they're both in the same standing of a 1 and 2. Sure, they've played some decent teams on the way here, but maybe starting to see some of those cracks really opening up. And yeah, I feel kind of bad for Sunpius. It's like he's constantly playing a game of the floor is lava. Every single round, like he's just desperately trying to run away from Molotovs. So we'll see how many times he's going to end up dying as a result of that one. But he has kind of been, him and Mattis have been the only two that have had any kind of moments for us to talk about for G2. And you have to take into account as well, if you did just join us, that the 2 rounds that G2 have picked up are just off the back of the pistol. Since then, it's 4 in a row. Rifle rounds have been incredibly one-sided.
Oh, that's a good point. It's good to remind people. Maybe somebody missed the start of the game, but that is in fact true. It's all gone according to plan at the moment. It's not even like they have a ton of kills, because you remember there are some of these rounds where G2 have been saving pretty early on. They had that full round where everybody with the USPs lived through. So weirdly, like for a 4-2 game, if you look at the scoreboard on the T side, it's like top fragging is Cello and Sway with 4 kills. Like, it's a very odd kind of game. And there were even fewer kills on the other side in some sense. So yeah, just very interesting. Belch not going to try again with the smoke. Again, it just full strike. Come on, like this can't be real. It's so dangerous as well. It doesn't cost them anything again, but you just never know if that's going to be the thing that will wreck you.
When I see a smoke fail twice in the same way, I'm almost wondering if it's by design. I'm trying to figure out why it would be the case. And then you just Molotoved into the smoke you threw. What? The
failed smoke lives on to stop the Molotov as well.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you wanted to smoke the middle of mid like that, there are so many different, like, why would you ever want to set it up in the same position? Like, there are so many other ways to do it, I feel like. So, but I get what you mean. Like, I had the same thought in the back of my mind. I was like, could it be? I don't think so. This time they did actually see how much it failed. So presumably someone's going to be flagging that and saying, come on, like, we can't be doing that. In a round like this one where there's no AWP on the other side, again, the exposure is minimal for them, but it's absolutely possible that if you keep failing it, you're going to lose rounds to it, and that feels really bad.
What I found kind of funny as well, I think it was Nerds who's about to see action here, so hold that thought for a second. I say see action, all he saw was a bullet pass between his eyes. But he was trying to block the smoke, and then he's like, hold up, what the hell? It's gone over my head. What's going on? Heavy-God, meanwhile, though, puts his deal to use, and Hunter is drilled by Jane. They're making a real go of this one, though, to be fair to G2. 15 seconds left, 3-on-3, and they do have 2 weapons.
Surely this is going to be in control. All right. Quick detour into the Molotov, and Cello does tag him up a little bit. Mattis with the AWP. Could he find the peak? He cannot. But back into it and running out of bullets. Heavy-God will get the job done, and we know how dangerous he is, especially with his M4. He's got it in hand, trying to make his way up long, and they are a little bit preoccupied looking at short as well. Good flashbang, but he's immediately there for the shot. Takes down Belchanok, and now Nota hiding. He's not quite sure where Sunfire is coming from. I think he heard the footsteps now, so he's definitely going to know. Flashbang goes up, he peeks on the other side, and it is as clean as it could get. Textbook peek coming in from Nota.
There's a bit of an eclipse there with how long Sunpius was taking to show up. I mean, Heavy-God was doing everything by himself. Drawing a flash, drawing both players to stare down on them long, and Sunpius is just chilling. I think he was like crawl walking up on catwalk.
Yeah.
You just got to get a move on, bro. Like, he's stuck behind a smoke.
Yeah.
I get that, but like, there needs to be urgency.
Yeah, but you actually, like, even in the replay there, you could see it's true the smoke was up, but I don't even care about that. Like, once Heavy-God is engaged, you've got to run through and try to do something. Even if you get killed, you show Heavy-God that the other guy was holding the smoke on the other side. That's well worth it, in my opinion. They try to smoke the middle again, and this time it falls to the Xbox. So they failed this smoke in the middle 3 different ways so far. I cannot explain that. I mean, they're winning the round, so I guess why am I complaining? Sunpius does get Jame, and he's going to be backing off to the corner, but someone has to fix this problem for Parody. please.
That's that. Get the belt.
Yeah, right now. Don't wait till after the game. Just do it in between rounds. Call a timeout, and get to the spanking part of this. Heavy God. Oh, it's uncomfortable. You can see the window. He's trying to cover 3 different angles at the same time. So in spite of the smokes, which they just cannot land no matter what, it doesn't matter. They're still winning the rounds. Just stop throwing them all together. You'll make the team look better, and you'll still win the rounds.
And you'll have an extra smoke to play with late in the round as well. You know, it's a win-win-win. Heavy God is donning the scout. Okay, let's see what he's got in store with that one. But, I mean, another great shot from James. I'm glad that you did highlight, though, coming into this map, that James is genuinely really, really good on those 2 individually.
Yeah.
You know, stats-wise, in terms of the impact he has. He's 5-5, but it feels like all of his kills have been very impactful.
Yeah, you wouldn't normally think James is like a potential top 4 AWPer in the top 10 on the T side of this map. That doesn't feel like a statement you'd want to say, but it is the way that things are playing out at the moment. Nuts. He's getting only the 1, and they will take him down right afterwards. I think they just threw the regular smoke, so not the one that's on top of the door this time. Which, again, it's better than messing the other ones up. And there's a couple of scouts on the CT side, but man, this is a very flat half so far for G2. Not too late to recover it, by the way. I think if they get 4 or 5 rounds here, there's still a lot to fight for on the G2 side of things. But the problem is, the money is so low all the time that even getting to 4 rounds is starting to feel like it could be a bit of an issue, to be honest. Double scout here. I don't know if that will solve the problem, but they are both at the A-bomb site. Belchunok waiting to set something up. First shot doesn't kill anyone, and Nota peeks into it. Once you hit scout, oh, that's a very good follow-up. Yeah, scouts are gone, and probably so is the round.
Oh, fully flashed in the face is Hunter. Kind of impressive he didn't run straight into that Molotov instantly, but he's dead anyway, so didn't really end up mattering, did it? Mattis does have a HE. Don't think he's in a position to do anything about the bomb plant. Nah. May not even realize that 2 players are this low and in range of that HE regardless. So 7 rounds in a row to ParaVision. Gotta say, credit where it's due, Anders. After that Mirage, I didn't have much faith, but they're definitely building up that faith right now for me. Like, this Dust 2 has looked a completely different outfit to Mirage. Players are actually chiming in. We said Jello had a great game on Mirage. Everyone else was absent. Well, everyone's stepping up here. Zwei, I did highlight him as being a player that's been a little bit disappointing. 8 kills to his name. Another very important one in this. Good flash and good follow-up damage. Yeah, this is a rejuvenated ParaVision, it looks like.
Yeah, and I think I said this on the first map, but just to repeat it again, I think the promise of this team is the idea that you're going to have, Zwei and Belchunok as 2, I would say, kind of up-and-coming riflers. We don't exactly know where the ceiling is, but both have had a lot of conversations around them. And I would say Nota and Cielo, they're more of like the stable players that you can rely upon to do some of the more basic tasks on a map. And then James as the, enigmatic tactician, the one that always has some plan that nobody else has thought of. And that combination is, I think it's a great storyline, but it makes them in the best version of this team very hard to play against. But what we've seen out of them in the tournament almost up until this point is a team that has had none of that firepower. Like, if you take away all the firepower and just has James trying to execute some strategies, that's not going to work. At the end of the day, you do need to create space on the map. You need to have some fights that you're going to be winning, and that's really what's been lacking. But now that is back again, and better late than never. I know it's a cliche, but yeah, ParaVision are proving you can't really give up. You got to keep it going. Smoke. Let's see. Drum roll. Oh my god, they hit it. Now they're gonna lose a round. This round is lost almost immediately. I can tell. Like,
right, GG.
That was it.
Go next.
The failed smokes is what did it.
Hey,
they're gonna blow it open.
Oh, James. That looked like it shot him right in the balls. That's a field bad, some players.
If you're gonna go out, yeah, that's not the way to go. Definitely not. But maybe, James started to hit the match a little bit too personally. Wanted some revenge for what's happening on the first map. Scoreline is 7-2, and trading the kills, it is going to be quite interesting. Yeah, hello to you guys in the chat. We are paying attention. Don't you worry. Is there going to be a flash to set this one up? Nerds has one, and he's setting up for position. This could be interesting, although I think they've fallen back from the catwalk position, ParaVision, so the flash peak not going to be that interesting. It looks more like a B split. say that like it was some curious thing, but I feel like everyone can say that's exactly what's going to happen here.
That would put Evigod in a bit of an awkward spot, considering he is the only player on this half of the map. There would be a significant rotation period required to even get close to him. The bomb is now moving through on B tunnels. So Heavy God is about to get tested. He has no smokes or incendiaries to help him out here. It's going to have to be raw frags. The way he played Mirage, you'd fancy him to get a couple of kills out of this one, but he has certainly slowed down, and there are so many angles for him to watch out for. They're going to be closing the gap, and as soon as he turns his back, Noda plunges the AK in.
You can't probably blame Heavy God for this round, but I almost wish he would have taken it on himself to try and fight either in the door or in the window. It feels like when you're stood on the bomb site like that and you're trying to sort of guess, where is the, like, he's not even covering almost any angle. He's just kind of, you know, shuffling between 2 or 3 different ones. So that's pretty brutal. Unfortunately, PVISION, good smoke, good round, good half. So far, they're up to 8. The best that G2 can get to is 4, which I still think it is massive if they could do that. It will make for a different second half, ultimately. But it doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot to slow down PVISION, who start the round by shutting down Sunpius. Like you said, shooting him in the balls. Somebody did comment when you said that, Vince. They said, huh, me next. I don't know quite. Like, we've got a different kind of audience here in the B streams, a different vibe.
I don't know if you want that really, Chief. I'm going to be honest with you. I might need to save you from a Darwin Award. So let's not do that.
Yeah.
I could kick you in the balls if you want, but that's going to hurt, but it probably won't kill you.
Okay, that's a new kind of fan service we haven't tried before. But yeah, I mean, esports still a young entertainment product, so maybe that is where the future is. It actually makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. We'll leave that on the on the drawing board for the minute. We'll workshop that some more, as we like to say. Round number 11, and it starts with Sway. They've got so much money that they've got a double orb now. They're going to throw it away and then pick up the AK again. He got the opening kill on Heavy God. That's just even more frustrating, isn't it? For the side of G2 that's really been struggling.
Yeah, and how much of this, Anders, to bring this back to the game itself, is PVISION playing excellently, and how much of it is G2 just being awful on the CT side? Because I'm not taking anything away from PVISION's performance, but G2 have just not been here at all, in my opinion, whatsoever.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think that is one side of the story for sure. Matt is good stubble here, and also Sunpius picking up the kill on lower dark. Jamie sees the shadow, and he will be able to take him down. But this is a 2-on-4. Now turned into a 2-on-3. Hunter, free kill. There's no way that James could have known that. He wanted to relocate himself and catch up with his teammate here. I was going to say, if they give away the 2-on-4 here, then I think G2 are going to be done, and there's not much hope for them any longer. The bomb, not in possession of a Sway either. Going to be out on long. It's good camera work here. So like I said, an 8-4, it's still going to feel a bit weird, but it is a doable comeback from that state. I think you're absolutely right, though. G2 have been really lacking, and you've seen it a number of rounds. Heavy God's been alone over there, kind of trying to hold 3 different angles at once. Sunpius burns alive again for the third time. Oh, that's great. He couldn't get the bomb. This round was lost either way, but it's just funny that it's Sunpius again.
Poor guy. I actually feel bad for him. Like, he's going to just wake up with you know, Molotovs and his nightmares. Unless they can come back and win this, and it's not really going to end up mattering that much. He has been leading the charge in terms of the kills for his team so far with the AWP. Had a bit of impact. Nice shot from Hunter with the AWP. Not something you see very often.
Well, we're in the last round. They're setting up very fast here. I suppose if you get a really quick kill on anyone in this bomb site, maybe you go for it, but missed opportunity. And touching the incendiary there, they should be backing on out of their PVISION. But I think this is a respectable idea, though. You could see how that could work out. Smoke in the middle did not land at the door, as we can tell. Hunter, though, I don't think he's realizing that Nota's already on the other side. None of it suggests that he knows. So there's a world where somebody could flash Nota into a fight. They're going to try again with the smoke. This time, I think it was just meant to land in the middle, which is fine. Nota moving forward. Like I said, Hunter has no idea. Such a forward position. Well played for Nota.
Yeah, he heard the drop down sound as well. So at that point, notice fully bullseye was painted on his target. Matt is playing anti-flash, gets the kill. I think he still got affected by that secondary flash that came through, or maybe that was actually Sun Pius that was helping him on long. Regardless, though, it is a 1-for-1 trade.
What was that smoke on long that was next to Mattis? Like, is that another PVISION smoke? That I'm so confused about what I'm seeing.
I genuinely have no idea. It landed in like the ramp, didn't it?
Yeah, like well, forget about it. Heavy God up in the window. 2 big kills. He's out in the open. He really can't escape that fight at all, but he doesn't have to. When he's getting that kind of double kill, it's all fine. Nerds is going to get smoked off. Does he want to push through before the teammates get there? If he dies, he makes it a 2-on-2, but he instead stops the bomb. Nobody was covering. Jame was busy in upper dark, and Nerds closing out the round. Smooth double kill for him. G2, they get to 4 rounds, and I really want to stipulate this. It is enough to make a comeback in the second half. It's not great, but they are still in this game. So let's see what G2 have coming into the T side.
Oh, yeah, especially if they can put that early pressure onto PVISION on the CT side by winning the pistol, stall James' first AWP being put into place, then yeah, this gets really interesting really quick. I also think that we saw G2 have a lot of success on their CT side of Mirage when they were being more aggressive rather than being statics, like when they were taking ramp control, when they were taking mid. So I want to see what they can do on the T side here, because that CT side for the most part was really, really rough. Like they won the pistol, they won second round, and then it was 8 rounds in a row to PVISION. On the bulk of those were rifle rounds. So 8-4 doesn't even necessarily paint the full picture of just how grim that half was from G2.
I think that's definitely fair. They could consider themselves somewhat lucky to have picked up the last couple of rounds here, because many opportunities for this to get worse for sure. And that's including winning the pistol round early on. So let's find out. T side, what is the plan? Curious to see if we're going to see some sort of utility. Double smoke. They are setting up for the door smoke, I think, already. Jame, though, testing them, trying to pick a fight here. Might have bitten off more than he could chew. He will be backing out of there. Door smoke landed perfectly. 10 out of 10 for G2 at the moment. Now they're going out long, and another smoke already committed for the cross, so they're not going to slow down. They're fully in this push, and it's working. Nuts, Metas, and Sunpairs, each of them getting a kill, and Cello, he can't see a thing through that one. He wanted to be a bit of a hero and slow them down before they could make the cross and plant the bomb. Out on long, Belchenok's going to be on a very long flank, but it's not going to be until the bomb is planted, I'm fairly sure. They are taking their time, though. There we go. Sunpairs finds one, and now Belchenok, he's been spotted.
Oh, he did. I think he landed the headshot there on the car, didn't he? Or it was very close, at least. I thought I saw the headshot animation. Either way, he's been able to isolate the kill onto Sun Pius as a result of that smoke. But the problem is that now he doesn't have that smoke to get back on the site with. And there's multiple angles for him to watch out for. Fully flashed and finalized by Hunter's hand. And so G2 have struck for both pistol rounds. And I agree with you, man. Like, that was a very courageous call from James to just push up mid by himself. I think he was super lucky to survive in the first place, to be honest with you. He was so out in the open.
Yeah. And in a kind of bizarre way, it actually plays into what G2 are trying to do anyway, because when Jame is pushed back and then they smoke off middle, the one problem that they have, PVISION, is they don't know if anyone's running catwalk. And we could see G2 weren't. They were running out long, but because the mid smoke is there and they've kind of been pushed away, you have a hard time calling that on the CT side, which means if you're fighting long, you have to worry about whether or not you're about to be fighting short as well. So it's just a bit mind game with the smokes there in the middle, and it's almost like Jame kind of helped to set them up with that because he got pushed back that hard. So yeah, unfortunate turn of events, but also good shooting, honestly, from G2 at the start of it. We'll take that. They will lose Nerds at the beginning. There's not much else. They had a flashbang on Belchenok. He's dead. And they have an HE on Jame.
Bit of an interesting stat coming into this round. Hunter was bottom of the scoreboard with 5 kills, but had the most ADR on the server. He's got a ton of assists, so he's been doing work, even if he's not been getting the accolades of the frags themselves. That's going to change after this round, more than likely, though, as Heavy God and Sun Pius have already laid 2 players down. May see action momentarily up on long. Sun Pius needs to be careful, man. There's 3 players long, and it's like he's got no idea this is a possibility.
Yeah.
He just has his back turned to them.
I don't understand what's going on. Why is he? He's covering the same position as both of his teammates are, more or less. Like, it's not even necessary for him to be looking in that direction. He does come back, but he could have got killed without even a chance to answer back at all. And the fact is that Galil is going to be blown down into the pit. Oh, maybe not. The HE, did it blow it the other way? That could have been a very nice move there for the T side to make sure that they can't pick up any rifles, because, man, I'll take a Galil on the CT side if I'm allowed to, but I think the HE sent it the other way. That's very clever. Great technology use coming out from the G2 camp there. Otherwise, Sunpius might have delivered that Galil to them.
Yeah, it's a head scratcher, isn't it? The thing is, it kind of looks foolish for Sunpius, but we don't know what the communications are on G2, to be fair to him, like giving him benefit of the doubt. If they've called, like I've heard noise middle or something, then maybe they're assuming it's some kind of full rotation through CT spawn, which is why he was watching the same angle as two of his teammates. But either way, I guess we'll never know. What we do know is the score is 8-6, and G2 have brute forced their way back into this map. Double smokes there, Xbox and middle have been tossed down.
Yeah, which might seem like it's a bit redundant, but it makes sure that the CTs can't blow open both the smokes. So it's not a mistake. It's actually just kind of a cool trick. Hunter flashed around the corner. It's going to be heavy god again, but like you said, the assists on Hunter, he's there. That's usually my excuse when I'm playing. Team, look at my assists. Not getting any of the kills, but...
But he's literally, like, coming into this round, 80 ADR. The nearest player on him is Nertson 66. So he's been doing work. He's been doing quite a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm lying anyway. I don't get any assists either, but, you know, in my dreams. They did take a lot of damage for it.
Yeah, it was a HE onto Catwalk. It hit him straight in the face. I think it literally did like 81 damage or something.
Yeah, that's not fun. Yeah, he's got no armor, so I guess that will do it. 3-man stack here. They do have another HE. Maybe one specifically designed for Hunter in this case. The rest of the team are right on top of each other. They're probably expecting there's going to be a lot of utility, and there isn't. But one well-placed HE might be enough. It does a significant amount of damage. Heavy God and Nerds, though, busy fighting their way back into it. And James and Silo, they are going to be pushed back into CT spawn, and admittedly probably better off saving the rifles here. They had a really big lead, like an 8-4 first half. That lead is shrunk down to just a single round after this one. 8-7 scoreline is coming up here as G2 will pick up another round.
Yeah, the alarm bells maybe can be heard in the far distance now for ParaVision. You had a stellar half. It was, keep in mind, 8-2 at one point. This is going to be G2 winning 5 rounds in a row. The last 2 in the previous half and the opening 3 on this, and things starting to get a little bit scary. Dastan probably starting to crack the belt a little bit here.
He's warming it up already. Yeah,
you can hear it.
Can you
theory
craft it? Don't say that, because the chat is going to go crazy, Vince. You've already been teasing them too much with potential punishment.
Well, you're the one that said he should spank him, mate. You haven't opened that can of worms.
Maybe that's what it takes to get the team back online. I'm just saying. I guess what I'm saying is, if that is what it takes, I don't think you should be holding back. It's going to be. I wanted to ask you, why did he not have any armor, Hunter? Like, we're not playing some kind of a Delta Force game where the more equipment you carry, the slower you are, or something. So like, he had plenty of money, by the way. So I just can't even understand that. He just forgot. I'm
just gonna say Giga Chad.
Just a Giga Chad moment, all right?
Yeah, he's just got a massive chin that's going to absorb all of the bullets. He's mogging. I've learnt that word and now I can't stop saying it. I need help. I need Jesus. James, please take the wheel.
Well, there's a lot to learn. The memes, they never stop coming. And the older you get, like you and I, Vince, obviously ancient at this stage, the harder it becomes to try and follow up on all of it. But it's good, though. Here we are. We're past all of that. We had a bit of a break here, but now we're back. Round number 16. Early grenade comes out, bounces down, but they're already through on the other side. Some weapons saved for ParaVision. Is it enough to win a round? We're going to find out. Grenade around the corner. It's not Sunpius that's getting burned this time. I guess that's the upside. It is Nert, however, unable to escape. It's a very good combination of grenades and then the spam through the smoke, and that will find him. So a man down early, and even more importantly, an AK recovered.
Yes, and that is really important. Certainly so for ParaVision, who have been struggling just a tad. Timeout called on the right end of round 16 thus far, but that can quickly turn on a dime, and James knows it. Stuck on the back of the site, does have a little bit of support in the form of Zwei, and Zwei takes off the head of Hunter. Really important kill.
Yeah, holding on even further now. See if they can go and pick up more of those rifles. I mean, every time they're going to want to get their fingers on that. 40 seconds on the clock. They're coming up long. Sunpius might have the most important task here because he has to stay alive. The rest of them, they're going to be fighting together. At least they got some teamwork going on out here. But Sunpius, as long as he can live, this is a dangerous round. Heavy Guard goes down. Very important find for James now. Leaping across his masses with the bomb on his back. He's planning for sure. This is so smart. You could see he rethought that. Great double take for him. The bomb is planted. Sunpius, though, he wants to fight with Mattis. They're going to get another headshot here. It's not over. ParaVision, this round looked over and done with. It looked like they'd won it already, and they will pick it up with the pistols doing the brunt of the labor here towards the end. But there definitely was a chance, I think, for G2 to steal that round back. Instead, it's ParaVision actually getting into the game a round earlier than expected from the saved rifles and then all of that drama out on long.
Yeah, it's gutting if you're G2. You know you had them on the ropes, and now there is a little bit of wiggle room for ParaVision. Plus, I mean, I imagine James was super frustrated there. Like, he knew exactly what was coming up. The bomb was being planted for short. They knew the last player was short. He backs off into a smoke, and it skews his vision just as he's about to pull the trigger onto the catwalk player. And I thought that might be the moment where they lost the round. It's not the case. The 5-7s do stick the landing. Belchanok and Nota seal the deal. 9-7 the score. And G2 will have another bye, but they're down to their last few pennies here. They lose this, assuming there's no saves, they're in real trouble.
Smoke for the corner, counter HE coming out. That landed on 2 people. Devastating beginning to the round already. Zwei going to be able to pick up at least one there, but Heavy God could have been in trouble. He was tagged from that same grenade, so his chances to win a fight straight up against the rifle there on the other side were somewhat limited. But I don't think he was even touched, so absolutely fine. They're back out on long, which is, it's a huge preference for G2 on this map. They go long way more than a bunch of the other top teams that are playing the map at the moment, so maybe it's not too surprising here. Nerds casually waiting, dancing around on the steps as he will take down Cello. 3 versus 4, and plenty of time, and I think they're waiting for another potential push, another bit of information gathering for ParaVision, which makes a lot of sense.
Oh, if Nota keeps pushing in this angle, though, he honestly could just sacrifice himself for no reason. They have gone for the double stack, though, here. Dropping grenades, gives his position away. Nert's now going to pop up, and a nice shot from Nota. Needed to connect that as well, because meanwhile, they're being pushed on long. Belchanok deals with Hunter, and now Jane in an awkward spot. But they're able to deal at least a little bit more damage to force away the plant. Molotov down. This is stalling and allowing Belchanok to get this rotation in.
You're absolutely right. He's in position on a long here. Now he's spotted. Oh, what a smooth click. Deletes Heavy God from the round and leaves it all up to the Spaniard here. Smoke is up. He knows they're going to be close. Point blank shuts down James and switches over to the AK-47. Belchanok, that first kill was so smooth, but now he's got to contend with Sunpius here. And that Molotov actually might make it even more difficult for him to fight him. He's got no more flashbangs. He does have a kit, so there's a little bit of time in the round. But he's not sure. I think he's thinking that Sunpius would have walked in the smoke. Oh, he's misread it. He's not in the smoke. He's in CT spawn, and he still finds the headshot, but has to jump on up. Oh, God, that is close. If he fails one of those jumps, I think he has no chance at all, but he will pick it up. Belchanok took the longest possible route to find that 1v1, and then the longest route to actually get to the bomb as well, and he still clutches it.
Oh, mate, Sunpius, you've got to get that kill, though. His crosshair was in the right place. He had everything going in his favor. With that time, he could have even just backed off into CT spawn. He had a HE as well, by the way. All the pressure was on Belchanok. That is a bitter pill to swallow, and they'll be thinking of what could have been. Instead, it's 10-7, and G2, as I highlighted before, their money is in such a rough position. Like, they can force a buy here, but you're not going to have an up. You're going to have a fair few players down to like Tech-9s and Deagles. So Nertz has gone in for a hero AK, and I'm not sure they'll invest anything else. So Pius is going to be devastated he couldn't get that kill at the end.
Yeah, and you got to think as well, like, even without the kill, right? Like, if he chooses another route, which would have been just hiding in any old corner, but you can hear how little time is on that defuse, right? If he crouches down and doesn't take the fight to Belchenok at all, he probably still wins the round to time alone. But the fact that he took the fight, didn't win it, and died so quickly, like, that combination of events made it impossible for him to win the round. Smoke up. It's clean. G2 really... Now they really are mogging them. This is the, they're smoke mogging them, Vince. That's a new thing. We've got aura mogging and frame mogging, and now we got, smoke mogging as well.
I can hear the groan of chat right now, like two boomers. Smoke maxing.
That's why I do it, though.
I've heard maxing's another one. Yeah, they don't realize we do it on purpose, and the more they whine, the more attractive it is for us to do it.
Yeah. It happens with age. You guys will get there as well one day. It'll just be funny to misappropriate things. So it's your turn next.
Ooh.
James, little flick onto Hunter. Not necessarily a hard shot, but I'll definitely take it. 10-7 is the scoreline, and a 3-round lead. But G2 feels like this map is on borrowed time for them. We said at the very start, they'd love to see Ancient as the deciding map. But it feels like that's going to happen at this stage. Smoke being blown open. Nota to hit the shot. Looked like James could have had it as well. And Silo here, he's got some backup inside as well. Yeah, Belchenok, very powerful position. No chance even for a bomb plant. Maybe even not a chance for a kill.
Heavy God, no real chance to have any impact. Maybe looking for an exit frag, see if he can trade up to a rifle, but realistically needs to die before time. Otherwise, he's going to be stuck on 3,400. And he's one of those players that'll be looking to have a rifle in his hands come the next round. So he will die with 7 seconds left on the clock. He's up to 5,800. He can actually drop an AWP to Sun Pius if they want to prioritize that one. We'll have a quick look and see if that ends up being the case. Either way, 11-7, last real chance for G2 to make a claim for themselves on Dust 2 after a pretty horrendous showing from ParaVision on Mirage. It looks like they're about to take us to a third all-important decider in this elimination match.
ParaVision, they've looked like a shadow of themselves in this tournament. It's been, on some levels, even depressing to watch them play the game. But they've come alive at a perfect moment. I couldn't have asked for any more than this. Sway and Nota both at 15 kills. James, maybe still not the biggest impact, but good enough. He's been AWPing well in some of these moments. And he called a great T-side on top of it. They're 2 rounds away from getting the job done here. And moving on to a third map. Smoke up for the split. It's going to be fast. Very fast indeed. Hunter goes down. And Nota, I can't believe he's able to react that fast. Belchenok now in the corner, hiding again. They're getting slaughtered. Getting to the B-bomb site. Nertz finally finding an entry, but it's way too late. Fantastic reaction from Nota. The speed with which they execute that B-split, it's easy to be out of position in the CT spawn, and certainly very easy to not be ready with a grenade to help out, but he was.
Also, a round of applause for the observing there, by the way. I don't know how you managed to catch practically all those kills when all hell just broke loose, but well done. It was a chaotic scramble, a tumble, and G2 once again on the receiving end of a battering. Yeah, they've won both pistols as well, Anders. Like, that's the most damning thing to me of all, is you won both pistols. You had every opportunity to establish a really strong Dust 2, and you're potentially going to lose 13-7.
Yes. I mean, that kind of reframes those 7 rounds differently. Like, you feel differently about it. You say, if it's 7 straight-up rifle rounds, you would say, oh, maybe they get another 5 and it could work out. But the fact that so many of these rounds are off the back of the pistol rounds, like you're insinuating here, that is a bit of an issue. They need 5 in a row to get this into OT. The way that Nota is playing right now on the CT side, it feels like that's not going to happen. We're at the stage where, you know, the Astana has put the belt back on. No one's in any immediate danger on the ParaVision side, which is great news. That's not been true for a while. James is going to be opening at the corner of Long towards the A-bomb site, and they got to sway all the way down there. So James can be super, like, he can AWP with great safety here. It's going to be up to the utility to try and push him back so that he can't just land shot after shot against them.
Yeah, the problem is the belt might be gone, but Saw's pulled out the slipper. He's got the wooden spoon. He's not happy.
Look at the push. Sway's in the middle. He's done holding long. He's pushing up behind them. This is a wild thing to be doing this early on. 27 seconds through the smoke. Nota! How has he got away with that? 20 seconds left, and they are on the A bomb site. Somehow they managed to trade places so much that G2 are now planting the bomb. And Sway, unfortunately, might have missed the timing window, because now they're looking for him. The flank is now just fairly obvious. He still wins the fight, which I guess is fair play. Hunter scouting his way to a kill against Cello, and it's a 2v2 to try and hold on to the map here for G2.
Oh, good flash. Sun Pius wanted to go for that peek with a deagle. A flash lands in his face. And now Hunter with that scout. I feel like most of his kills in this map have actually been from the AWP or the scouts. Not known for his sniping ability, but he's been doing a pretty good job so far. But he has fallen down, and now Sun Pius needs to make amends. Needs to try and clutch with the deagle to save G2's life here on Dust 2, and he will oblige. Connects the second headshot, and they live to fight another day.
Yeah, he couldn't clutch it last time against Belchenok. He had half a second left, or maybe less, and he would have won the round in the first clutch there. But this time with the deagle, he gets the job done. And you're right, buys another round. We said 5, now it's 4. And this is about the time of the broadcast where we're going to be looking at the money there for the CT side. Now, even in spite of the buy, it looks like they're going to be fairly rich. So it's not an immediate threat, but one more round for G2 and things start to get very, very different here. And the mood on PVISION could change quite a bit. They smoke away the incendiary because they want to take this long position. Like I said, they have a real affinity for taking these long fights, G2. A lot of teams do these days, but G2 are doing it more than your average sort of top 5 or 10 teams, which is very interesting to think about. James hasn't spotted anyone back there, but he really wants to take that early fight.
Similar positions where we saw Sun Pius a couple of times. Jello is there to lend a helping hand. There's good flashes, and Mattis with 2 huge entries. Nota is going to keep the threat of Catwalk open, but not for much longer as Hunter spanks him through the smoke in the head. And now it's only Belchenok. Hell, they got a disgusting smoke shot themselves last round, so Hunter's just even the odds. So there you go, deal with that one.
That is fairly brutal. You're right, the double kill for Mattis there. That's what kind of set up the round to change a little bit. And then the fact that they found the kill through the smoke onto Nota. Nothing you can do about that. Just maybe zooming out a little bit here. It's about a 51 to 31% difference between A and B bomb site. So A bomb site by far favored here from G2 on the T side of Dust 2. B bomb site is a lot less, and a lot of their B attacks they don't have the strongest strategies. The one thing they do have is when they go for those heavy tunnel pushes. So having 3 or 4 people in upper dark and making that kind of work. I think they've got some success with that in the past. I haven't seen them pull it out yet, but it's also possible that they are just trying to condition PVISION as much as they can, going long all the time, and short, and then eventually at the end of the game, if you feel like, okay, now they're biting down on that one and they're over rotating, maybe we can go do it. So it's possible that I know they have it up their sleeves. If you watch a lot of the demos, you might be able to catch some of that. This time looks like more of a default setup to begin with.
Oh, James again, man. 12 kills, but it feels like every single one of his frags has been really important. How many opening picks? I'll go have a quick check here.
Yeah.
4.
Let's investigate. Okay. Out of 12 kills, that's still pretty good. And those, I feel like you're right. Like, it's not the most flashy kills, but he's had a couple of impactful ones. This is going to be into middle with no warning, no smokes thrown. Nota, once again, looks like he's ready, but I say that, might have cursed him. Heavy God takes him down. Belchenok alone in the site. You can't really recall this. You kind of have to keep going for this one right now. You might as well fight. If you fall back to the middle, you're going to lose the round every single time. Belchenok low on ammunition, pulls out the USP to continue the fight, and he can't take down Mattis, but the boost over the top of the box here. Cello really wants to disengage, but he sticks around. Hunter takes his face off, and now it's a 2 versus 2. The bomb planted. G2 need another clutch to keep the dream alive, and Mattis might have delivered it. A headshot to take down Sway. All on James with the AWP. What a mad round.
Well, it's not done just yet. James Is lacking a kit, though, and yeah, the money's in a position where he is going to have to save, and it makes perfect sense for him to save. It does mean, though, that we've gone from a 12-7 to a 12-10, and whereas before they were in cruise control, just beaming down the highway, smiles on the faces of everyone, now those smiles have started to turn into a bit of a frown, because they realize G2 are breathing down their necks. They are super close to taking this to OT.
It's great to see them try for one of those contact mid pushes where you don't smoke spawn, and again on the CT side you're so conditioned to the idea that, you know, oh, they're gonna smoke spawn and then they're gonna flash middle, or they're gonna Molotov close before they ever show up. Like, I have a lot of time and a lot of grenades to get through before anything's gonna happen, and that just wasn't the case. Nota, he's been playing a great game here on this map, so it's hard to criticize him, but this is one of the moments where it felt like maybe he could have had that fight against Heavy God, but might have been looking at the radar, might have been communicating with his team. We won't know. 10-12. Yeah, the gap is closing. Let's see if they can keep it going for a little while longer. And again, now the money is going to start to be an issue for PVISION.
Yes, sir. I mean, I said that James was on 4-0, which is the case, but Zwei is leading that charge, 6-1. And by the way, as we move into round 23, pardon me, G2 have only had 5 opening duels go in their favor the entire game, as you can see there on your graph. So 5 opening duels, and it's still this close, is wild.
I think that's a consequence of how much they've been pushing long, because very often you're going to be shut down in the doorway there, and then Heavy God kind of follows it up and finds another kill in return. But I think it's still very interesting for sure. I think it's their reliance on it. Now, I said they like to do this like heavy tunnel push. We'll see if this is going to be one of the rounds where they finally do it. And PVISION weirdly are in a round where, again, they just have the AWP, so they are more likely to stack a bomb site. Right now they're leaning towards the B side of it. Sumpire's down. James will find him and immediately relocates. You want to find a new position to snipe from. This could be a very painful way to lose the map. James is right here. This short position, normally you have to throw a Molotov to clear this. They don't have one on the other side, and as a result, they get blown up. Sloppy work, I would say, for G2. There's a reason why that Molotov is one of the most thrown grenades on the map. Oh, and a failed smoke. No. What's happening, Vince? What's going on?
Nerves getting the better of them, perhaps. But yeah, this is looking incredibly grim. And if G2 were to lose this round out of all of the rounds to put them on their back and take us to a third map, how brutal is that going to be? But maybe PVISION about to play themselves into an L after all. Getting aggressive out onto B there gives a free kill away. Now they're going to find the information, but Heavy's got himself another entry. Flashes are good. Jello's fully blinded.
I really don't understand it. Mattis gets the kill on James in the window. 20 seconds left here. 5-7 in the back of the site. The backstab is in. He gets a double spray down. The bomb has been picked up again, though. And Hunter running around on the other side. But he's already tagged up. You've got to be really careful here. Not a long fight. You need the straight headshot to bring down Sway, and he will. Hunter does it for his team. Not just the captain, not just the IGL. He's picked up a stunning clutch in this one. It's about to lose them the map, but instead it goes the distance. 24th round is secured here. Let's see what happens.
Bruh. PVISION snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory. Like, all they had to do was sit on the site. They had a massive player advantage, and they go one by one, isolate and segregate themselves for no reason. Good utility on the approach, to be fair, from G2. But that's a round PVISION are going to be devastated about. How do they bounce back from this one, though? The flash is so good, and Sway opens up with a full magazine and picks off 2. Fully blinded.
You mentioned the opening kills that have been lacking on the side of G2. This time, they don't even get the return kill. So this is a hard one to dig your way out of. They've been fighting to get into this position, closing the gap all the time. But 24th round, that might be where it comes to an end here. PVISION, they're not interested in overtime. They're interested in a third map on Ancient. And they're pushing their way there right now. Great double sway up to 21 behind this. And the discipline, I expect nothing less. In fact, if they start to push now like they did in the other round, then I do believe we're going to have that belt conversation immediately again. So don't make the mistake of doing it Surely the troops are going to be well disciplined here on the CT side. It looks like it. Boost on over. It's a really cool idea, but there's nobody there to be found. Can you even get back into this round at all?
Yeah, because of that boost, they committed 2 of their 3 players for the boost, but a third also on catwalk. They have no map control. No one long, no one piercing through on the B side, no one's middle. It's one-dimensional. They are living or dying on this push, Anders.
Yes, they are 25, and Sway keeps it going. A third kill for him. Nota is finally out, but it's way too little and might be too late as well. Nerds does get a headshot. He doesn't realize James is still here. He feels like he just clicked the ramp. Yeah, he's got the bomb out, and I can't even blame him. He thought that was a clear and open position, and now instead Sampai's jumping down. It's action-packed, but there's no time for it. Cello takes him down. It's 13-11. The Star is already dishing out the criticism. I think it looks like they're having a real serious conversation, but that's for later. It's going to be a third map here on the B stream. What a wonderful turn of events here, and what a wonderful return for PVISION, to be honest. They've not been playing their A game at the tournament, but that's more like it.
Man, the fact that Dastan got right in Nota's face, and he did not look happy, did he? He did not. And Nota had a really good map as well. That's the other thing. He entered with 95 ADR. He had 19 kills, 12 assists, a ton of multi-frags. He had a great map. But it just goes to show,
So there is definitely way more of a B lean to the PVISION T side than there is for G2. So that's something else to kind of consider. Sometimes you end up going B so much on this map that it becomes a little bit too telegraphed. And obviously that's something that we saw for PVISION earlier in the tournament. Don't want to be seeing exact repeat of that. I don't think it's going to be that bad. But we'll find out right now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are headed into the game. PVISION on the CT side to begin with. G2 on the T side. And they are crouching their way forward. I think they might be seeing if anyone's going to be walking in. But eventually they'll throw the smokes and they're going to be ready to go. Heavy God has got a Molotov as well. Where is that going to be for? We'll find out.
certainly will, as they are now pulling the trigger. They're going in for it. Molotov toss to the back boxes. No one's home. They've completely given this one up, but Hunter does nail the headshot onto Jane. Not sure where that was from, but he's dealt with him. Yeah, he was flanking behind. That's true on elbow.
Yeah, he was trying to get in there. Huge kill. Oh, they're going to be coming right through the smoke, but Belchanov didn't need many bullets for that one. A little bit more this time as Mattis is doing some sort of a crazy dance, tribal dance, trying to get in towards Donut. I don't know what's happening, but somehow he gets the kill. Tapping the bomb. He's not trying to defuse. He just wants to fight. He wants the T's to reveal themselves so they can start to nameplate where everybody is. Nerds in the back. Smoke is up. There's no kit in play right now. It's going to be a long time before they can even dream of a defuse, and I think unfortunately that dream has turned into a bit of a nightmare here for them. Nota alone, and clock has already run down too low. Nerds with a double kill, and a very nicely called round, I must say, out of G2, and especially when they catch James flanking that early.
I think for me, Anderson, you did touch on him before as being like a pretty prolific and very solid player on Ancient. But if Nerds has a good performance here, I think G2 win. I think he is the win condition. I don't want to put all of it on his doorstep, because obviously you need a team to work around you. But coming into this map, he actually was rock bottom of the stats at a 0.68 rating. He had a very rough Mirage, even though his team ended up winning, and also a rough Dust too. So I think for me, he is a player I'm looking at to have some serious impact. If he does, G2 will be very difficult to beat. Look at Mattis though, it's an eco bash still.
Yeah, but that's obviously, it means we're going to credit, the 3 kills a little bit less, but for the team, it still feels really good. We all know that when you're the one getting those kills, you don't care if they have armor or USPs or anything like that. You're just happy to see them fall on the other side. Max is almost making it a quad there. It's going to be some highest instead. And like you said, a bit of an eco bash here, which is absolutely fine. Second round on the board for the G2 squad. Now on Dust 2, the problem was they got most of the rounds based off the pistol round wins. I doubt if that's going to be the case here. We'll see. Cello actually choosing the MP9 so you can get more utility. They also only have 2 helmets, which normally on the CT side we care less about the helmets because you're up against AKs, but this time they are up against only 1 AK. So the lack of helmets there could actually be a problem.
Yes, very true. Good point. We'll see if that ends up being a problem. The only Kevlar'd up with head armor is Jame. Everybody else, actually, they have Zello as well. So it's 3 players without head armor at the end. But that could be a real problem, like you highlighted. Mattis has been barraged down to 20.
Ouch.
But he's unbothered and unfazed by that as he hides in the smoke. He's now going to bypass the Heaven. They're going to try and take a bit of mid control. Molotov down on Red Room. And again, G2 have their sights set on this A side. And no one's home for now. The player they had, which is Belchanok, has started to fall away. They will have heard the singeing of footsteps if they were closer. But ParaVision don't know as to where the T's are. They have no information as it stands.
Yeah. This is a very uncomfortable position to be in on the CT side. Like, fine, you can try to let them get the bomb plant and just hope to kill one for the smoke, but it's really uncomfortable at the beginning of the game to have to rely on that kind of a thing. Blowing it open, you've got 3 bullets left. I don't even know what the point is. It's like he's just operating, and sort of, just muscle memory alone. It's like, oh, there's a smoke. I've got to blow it open. Yeah, but you also do need bullets. Otherwise, that's not going to be very helpful. Bomb is planted. They are low on health. And like I said, if you're not going to hold the bomb site, you can try and make it very hard for the T's to get in there without taking a lot of damage. And with that kill, maybe there's a way they flash on over, but I don't think they have the kit to even dream of it. So in spite of some kills, they're going to be backing on out of there. And that will be G2 picking up a 3rd round. Very early doors. But at least for ParaVision, if they can save these guns, not really the end of the world.
Yeah, the problem is that was essentially the bonus round for G2. They came into it with an MP7. I think it was Mattis that had that. They come out of it with multiple rifles. They've really put a stranglehold onto the start of this map. So you highlighted earlier, they won both pistols on Dust 2. They got a 2-0 start on the CT side, and it was a 3-0 start on the T side. Ended up still losing that. But they're in such a strong position. And again, the impact this has for James having his hands on the AWP, which is a really important moment for ParaVision. He's not going to be playing with that anytime soon. So,
yeah.
Already backs against the wall if you're ParaVision early on here on the CT side of Ancient. And Heavy God's gone for a MAC-10, interestingly.
I love that. He knows they're not going to have the helmets once again, so just trying to put the pressure on. James calling it in, but he's not even realized they walked all the way past him. Oh no. That and the 3-bullet peak from the other round, those are going to be incredibly memeable rounds for the ParaVision haters in the chat. Sure, there are a couple of them. 3 versus 5, and again, there's no choice. You have to save immediately. You could even see, I think, that James is he's talking to the team in that moment as they're actually stomping right past him. So that's a real lapse in the defense if I've ever seen one. Going to be a 4th round here, Vince. And again, like I said, I think ParaVision will switch to the stronger side when they get to the Z side. That's where they do their better work, weirdly enough. But I still think this is a hard way to go early on. 4-0.
Yeah, they're one of the few teams right now at the sort of top flight of Counter-Strike that are pretty much going to pick T-side start whenever they can. Saw this over on Mirage, obviously. So I do agree. I think this is about G2 getting as many rounds as they can. But it's not as if G2 have a trash CT side themselves, though. That's another thing that we kind of have to factor in. It's like, yeah, ParaVision, maybe your T side is strong enough. But if you only come out of this half with 3 or 4 rounds, that probably isn't going to be good enough. Like, you actually have to start converting some of these saves, some of these buy rounds that you've picked up. And again, we're moving into round 5. They're not going to have an AWP. And G2 is such a great read, by the way, as well. Like you say, like, they're completely caught off guard. Like, Heavy God had $5,000. He goes for a MAC-10 and just holds W, gets the freest of kills and the freest of rounds. It's a fantastic call from Hunter.
And a lot of the utility that the CT side really relies upon to try and stop those kind of rushes. Also, you're going to have, less of it in a round like that last one. So, yeah, it just makes a lot of sense across the board. It really does. And I would just even say in general, like, it's unfortunately a mistake that, we see all the time. I used to start every broadcast on Ancient repeating, saying, all I want from the CT side is whoever is anchoring B, I just want them looking at the B ramp all the time. Just don't take your eyes off it. Because very, very often, all it takes is like one slip up, you look away, and suddenly there's a T player there with an AK, and it's all over. Like, the round can be done in a second. So, don't know if it's as grim any longer, but it definitely is a real threat. They did save guns, and that's kind of the thing that's keeping them somewhat competitive. But again, it looks like G2 are going to be following through as ParaVision are taking middle. G2 rushing again towards the B bomb site, but this time there is a bit of stoppage. Cello's taking down Mattis to begin with. The bomb still could be planted here, but they're momentarily waiting around to see if anyone else is going to be fighting on that side. Nice position from Sway, and it's a 5 versus 3. This is looking a lot better. Finally, there's a glimmer of defense, I say, but they nearly lost the round there.
Because they were so rapid up on ramp, there's still tons of time. Like, Heavy God doesn't have to rush this. He's biding his time. Very intelligent player. Make a caught on the side, though. He spots the shoulder, but there's no way his eyes were staring in that position. He was looking up to heaven. He was anticipating a cave rotation, so you can let him off for that one. I do like the conditioning, though. Like, we've talked about this multiple times, Anders, but, like, the conditioning now for ParaVision is at any given moment, we could just rush you up ramp. You're going to have to expend at least one incendiary and smoke to deal with that threat, and then that gives you more options across the rest of the map later on in the half. So G2, I'm really curious how many times they lean on this B side. Are they going to continue to do it, or are we going to start them seeing switching up, going like mid-aggression?
Yeah, that's what they're doing this round. The last round, there was 3 people here. This time, it's going to be 3, but kind of one at a time here. You can see they just keep on fighting one by one as Jame will equalize it back to a 3-on-3, but that wasn't a ParaVision defense where they had great crossfires or they were able to trade out each other very quickly. There's every chance there that you're going to lose more of those fights. So scary way to get it done, but also good utility from G2 to put the pressure on every CT player that was stepping up to take a bit of a swing there. Now it's Jame and Sway that are going to be playing... Oh, sorry, Cello and Sway that are going to be playing outside of this, and Jame going to be towards the donut position. But again, so much time in the round here. Bomb is outside of B, and Mattis wants to take a bit of a peek, maybe even wants to take a bit of a fight. He wins it, in spite of almost stepping into his own Molotov. Kind of an ugly fight from both sides.
I think his Hunter's been in Red Room for ages. He snuck up in here so early on, so he basically has any rotations covered, but he doesn't know where the rest of the CTs are. All he can say is they're not CT, they're not rotating right now, so they need to move together. Mattis sacrifices himself, but they're anticipating there's a second player here. Jello goes for the peek, and it's a nice second frag. That's the kind of impact we saw him over on Mirage having. And now Hunter, who is in such a good spot for so long, it's now kind of valueless. He may get the drop on one player, but there's 25 seconds left, and he still needs to get the bomb. Should get the drop on Jane, but now his position is compromised.
Oh, wait a minute. If he actually touches him, oh, he won't. I was going to say, if he'd actually hurt him, he knows now because of the smoke anyway. Hunter rushing right through, but Cello is there. Finds the triple, finds the clutch for his team that they so desperately need. But I must say as well, Sunpire's making the run to try and get away from Cello there. I don't know if that's the right move. I get that if he'd made his way past, he could have put the bomb down, and then Hunter's position, like you said, is very strong. But it just feels a bit desperate when you're trying to run out of the crosshair there. And yeah, maybe there would have been a different way. Regardless, nice round out of Cello. They need something here. And this is starting to get ParaVision kind of a little bit back into the game.
I do feel for Hunter there, by the way, because he, honestly, from his individual perspective, he did everything right. But as soon as his teammates die, his position goes from valuable to absolute trash.
Yeah.
So I do feel for him. Still 4 rounds to the good compared to 2. He can still turn this one back around. But we already said before, like, ParaVision need to start getting on the board. They need to give themselves something to work with come that second half. And they have heeded the call. 2 rounds in a row. Jane getting aggressive up on Heaven. Molotov's going to keep him at bay. Needs to tread lightly. Mattis got spotted. Good flick from Jane.
And that's enough, right? You can't really stay in middle for too long. That's one of the challenges, I think, of playing CT side mid is you can hold it with enough utility early on, but eventually you just run out of smokes and incendiaries and you have to back on out. So this time they get a kill. They immediately retreat. Sunpire's, he was boosted earlier to look for a kill. He hasn't really found anything yet, but they are right on this ramp. And all it takes is one mistake, like I said, and this wasn't one of them. Fast peek coming out from Sway there, which is nice. Means he dodges the AWP. Nobody on the A bomb site, so maybe they're going to start rotating heal back once this smoke goes down. That might indeed be the whole point of throwing it here, is to try to make sure there's not going to be a massive stack on B. But instead of pushing back, they're actually going out for the information. Sunpire's gets the kill this time, but we're down to 22 seconds.
Really good flash from Molotov. It forces Jame off the angle, but Shello is so good with that AK. Sunpire's may connect a second shot. He's done his impact, but no one else steps up to the plate in this round. And there's only so much that one man can do. So slapped away again our G2 for a 3rd consecutive round. And whereas their money was so huge before, now they're starting to feel the effect.
And only a couple of kills here as well. I feel like, you know, if this was down to the 1v1s again, you're putting some real pressure on the ParaVision economy, but yeah, some frustration started to show ever so slightly. This B defense was getting rocked in the beginning, but it's looking a little bit better now. They've stolen 2 AKs to the CT side, and the funds have run dry on G2 here. Good flashes to come out. Nuts said a bit of an expert at opening up the middle at times, but he didn't have the weaponry for it, and they didn't have the counter utility either. They're going to lose Matches next. This could be a very quick recovery for a PVISION team. Like I said, they're looking forward to, I think, a better side on the T side. So this is not too bad. Nota, unfortunately, had no idea they'd already made their way past. He's looking at a much deeper angle for their pixel peak there, and they were already in front. So that gives up the bomb plant, which is a bit of a wrinkle in the round.
It is. Unless James decides to push this smoke, he can maybe deny it, but he decides against that because of the strength in numbers. Keeps them interested over on the L bend. Now Belchanok, really powerful position. Needs to stay alive at this point. The cavalry's going to charge in and mop up the rest of the T's. Nice shot from Hunter, but it is a dying effort. And as you kind of touched on there, the comeback is now complete. 4 rounds on the CT side. A great turn of events. Sure, there's going to be rifles on the horizon, but I was a little bit concerned that G2 were going to run away with this when they went 4-0, especially after that round with Heavy God's Mac 10. So credit to PVISION for being able to just repel this and dig their way back in.
Chaotic game here. A lot of corners missed and spots not being checked so far in a round like this one. It's PVISION that come out on top of it though, but the bomb plant helps with the buy no matter what. Gonna see a lot of grenades coming out. Actually will damage the CT side a lot, and they were never fighting for middle. They just wanted to do the damage, so that's pretty good. G2 will definitely do that, and now they seem to be leaning back towards the A-bomb side, which once again is unoccupied. So PVISION, I think what they're telling us inadvertently here is that they really trust in their retake protocols for the A side. Otherwise, you wouldn't be playing this many rounds without having a defense here or even an early warning system. So let's see if their confidence is misplaced. They are surely going to have to retake this. They take out Mattis, who's on the other side. That's a pretty good start to the retake. The bomb is only just being planted down.
Yeah, Mattis was kind of the ace up the ace in the hole, you know, like you get that plant, he can play the long lurk around the back. Him going down is really significant. It's going to build the confidence as well for this retake to come in. Some pious, important kill. Needs to stay alive though, as Belchanok's about to move through on the donut. This is all a bait and switch for Hunter's spot. It's really powerful up there on the boost. And Some Pious gets an important kill. I think James may have been shot in the back. Well, pardon me, shot his way in the back with his AWP perhaps. But now Nertz comes in with a kill, and James can't do anything apart from save. So G2 will regain the lead.
They even had some utility here, but it's just not going to help them at all. Everybody in the server is dead, but a little nod there from Hunter saying that's a good work at the end of the day. So 5 rounds. They let them back in here, PVISION, but exploiting that weakness at the A-bomb site. And PVISION never... I think the problem was here, they got shut down before they could do like a structured retake. Because they were having that fight with some hires early on when they were still in CT spawn, and that's kind of annoying. That means a lot of the utility, they can't even get in a position where they can throw it for any kind of a retake. Round number 10, though, is going to be here. And there's another thing that I love to warn about on this map, which is whenever the CTs smoke that top ramp over at B, if they throw that smoke so that it's too far on their own side, so it's like it's not just at the top of the ramp, but it's like almost leaking into the B bomb side, that's something that can be exploited a lot by the T side, and G2 are a team that do that. Sometimes they'll stand in that CT smoke and basically flash their way through. Now, it's more something you want to do when you have Tech 9s or something, and they've had pretty good funds. But I've noticed a couple of times PVISION have thrown that smoke in a slightly dangerous way. Haven't been exploited yet. Instead, it's been the A-bomb side that's been kind of a weakness for now. Let's see what happens. We are in round number 10, and this time we're seeing, again, more mid-control being attempted for PVISION, but they do get smoked off, so I guess they have to cancel it. Yeah, they wanted to have 3 people to push middle from there.
And they have been reality checked as well on this whole, we're not going to play A at all, guys. This time, 2 players in Donut. They had a third as well for James. He's gone back to CT to watch Red Room. But he was posturing over on the A side. So, seems like G2 have at least earned the respect of PVISION when it comes to that side of the map. Heavy God thinking about pushing in. Nertz also behind him. Ideally, you'd want to flash before you push. There we go. Forces James off the angle. They would have heard those footsteps. They're going to go and charge him. Need to be careful about that. James will punish.
Yeah, but he gets hunted down. Heavy God, who's had a bit of a tough time getting into this particular map. That was his 3rd kill of the half so far, but it's a huge impact one. Look at the position that he's controlling at the moment here. MP9 on the one side, Molotov into the fight. I'm shocked that he gets to live. They do want to put the pressure on, but now Hunter is being burned instead. That was his teammate burning him out, and now it's all gone awry. What has happened on the G2 side? They might have thrown the round away to try and hunt like one MP9, essentially. That is a lapse of judgment, and Sunpies is going to be furious that he's now alone.
Like, Hunter, Chief, brother, you had the bomb. Why would you ever repeat that into Molotovs with the bomb? That's crazy work.
There must have been a failed Molotov. I think he's not expecting for the second Molotov to land. I'd love to see the replay of exactly how that played out, because there's no way they would have done that. But there must have been some kind of failed grenade on top of it. Sunpies trying to save here. Got to be careful. Clock's really run down. If he dies after the time, oh, he won't. He's actually massively punished him and picked up the AWP. Now it's kind of PVISION that look a bit silly.
And that's actually going to have serious ramifications. They can't afford an AWP. No one on the team has enough money to buy an AWP, as far as I'm aware. So Sunpies hasn't just denied an AWP from the opposition. He's picked one up himself. And the money's not great. And we still have 2 more rounds to play with. So that's a hell of an effort from Sunpies. Yeah, I still just, I can't fathom that. It must have just been like a madness in the moment type thing. It does happen.
Yeah. The stress started to get to them. Third match.
Has James got no weapon here? Oh, he's got a FAMAS. Okay, I only saw a USP. And I'm like, bro, come on.
Well, we had no armor for Hunter earlier, and we called him a Giga Chad, so...
True.
Maybe he just wanted a little bit too. We're nearing the last couple of rounds. Look at the utility on the CT side. 1 smoke, 1 flashbang. They do have a kit on Nota, which is kind of impressive. What, if anything, could they do on the other side as well? I suppose, you know, Tech9s, 1 AWP on Sunpies. And they are once again leaning slightly towards the A side of the map. It feels like PVISION are in such a forward position that wherever they go right now, G2, PVISION should be able to rotate in time and kind of be there. Again, even if they don't have to stop the bomb plant. That's not the most important thing. They just have to be near enough by that they can do some damage.
I was going to say, he saw like a pixel around the corner, and then he just gets his head removed from Nerds up close. 2-for-1 trade. G2 are right in this round.
Yeah, Jame with that FAMAS at range, unable to defeat the Deagle. And with 30 seconds, the patience here for Sunpies, is he going to be rewarded? Cello, if you take a step forward, the round could be over. But at the same time, he wants to be close enough by. Molotov instead is going to force him back. Can't really run into this, unfortunately. Oh, he burns so far down. That's 75 damage from just staying too close. But Heavy Dot goes down. Sway doing a very fine job of keeping his team in this round. Bomb will be planted even as we speak. And now the battle continues. It's Hunter to take down Nota. Cello trying to get in there, but they've been defeated with 1 AWP and some upgraded pistols. Now they steal more of the rifles as G2 get up to 6 rounds and looking to make it a 7th if they can. There's just no money on the PVISION side.
That is one of those rounds that if PVISION end up losing this and being eliminated, they're going to go back to, and they're going to relive over and over again. So many moments that they could have still snatched it back. But Sunpies, after saving the AWP in the previous round, has made its thing. And as you highlight, no real funds to play with. Mattis wants to get hot and heavy up on ramp. Does get mollied early on and a smoke behind it. But there isn't any real utility to play with. You've got 2 smokes and that's it. And then it's like, screw this, we're pushing you.
Yeah, running right through. That's the strat I was talking about earlier, running through those smokes that are thrown down, and they were waiting on the other side, but couldn't do anything about it. Hunter, good spray down here. He will be overwhelmed as Belchinok gets close enough with the 5-7 to make it legal. Or legal, I guess it is, but also lethal. I'm not a lawyer, Vince. I don't know for sure. Sunpies with the scope ready. Belchinok to go down. And it looks like a 7-5 finish here in favor of G2 is locked in. A nice 1 tap coming out from Nuts. And that's exactly where we end. 7-5, which I think is great. But like I said, I do think PVISION do their better work on the T side. So let's find out if that's just pure copium for me, or if we're going to see a bit of a resurgence from them going into the second half.
That's that in conversation. Oh, he's having a go. He's having a go. He's not happy. He's
Look
really
at the
having a go there.
there.
That's there. Holy, the side-eye, bro.
I love
Chill.
Astana is such a great character. He really is. Like I said, I told the story. I'll tell it again because nobody was watching yesterday, really. But you know, when I met him in Copenhagen, I hadn't seen him for a bit at various tournaments, and he walks up and says, "Oh, hey Anders, it's good to see you. You know, good to see you back and all this stuff." And I said, "Yeah, it's good to see you, Astana. How are you doing?" And he says, "Oh, so you gained a little weight." Just the funniest thing that you could tell someone. So, and I said, like, yeah, you know, you're right. It's true. I should do better work. And he says, yep, me too. A lot of travel, a lot of work, you know. But obviously, it's like a friendly thing. Like it's a cultural clash with, you know, with sort of with the Danish culture. I thought it was really funny. So, you know, now you know, got to go back in the gym, got to go some walks so I can face the Stan. I don't want to be belted either. You know, I'm trying to avoid that too. So,
You don't want to get that side-eye, Anders, you know?
Exactly. Like we're all on the edge right now, trying to dodge the death there. It is going to be round number 13, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's PGL Astana, and being Kazakhstani himself, Dastan would love to bring his team a step closer. They're not quite going to qualify here, but they will avoid getting knocked out. It's elimination on the line, so you've got to fight for this.
Oh, no doubt. It's entertaining, but this means a hell of a lot to every single player on the server, both coaches, all the backroom staff as well. You better believe that they're on the edge of their seat, biting their nails, watching on as they watch their teams do battle. These two Julies, neither has been activated just yet. Heavy God's had a bit of a rough start with 4 kills, but we know he can pick it up at any given moment. Sunpies has had a blinder of a first half, 15 to his name.
Oh, we're one step away from Heavy God getting right back into this. I've no doubt about it. He's very good on this map, so do not underestimate him. They take a peek, but this is great. PVISION have heard that flash. They know that they just got what is essentially false information. So if you wait long enough, there's a chance that they will back away and say, okay, there's nobody outside of B. Let's try and see if we can go. But Heavy God stuck around. They didn't overcommit to the rotation here, in spite of not seeing anyone. 30 seconds. Heavy God with the dualies turns around and shuts down Sway coming out of the round. Mattis following it up. It is perfect pistol play coming out here from the G2 camp. Jame with very little time and not enough firepower either. Sunpies putting it to an end, and this is what they needed. They already had a good position here on the G2 side, but Heavy God getting thrown into the mix. Now they're set up nicely to try and close out this game.
Oh, James is trying so hard, isn't he? Like, you can really see that he's not far off with his aim being perfect. But at this level of Counter-Strike, every millimeter, every millisecond counts for so much. And I was saying, like, I think, you know, Nuts needs to be a determining factor after a couple of rough maps. What I didn't foresee is Sunpies just going nuclear. The guy is using every weapon to its utmost prowess, like so proficient with everything, as PVISION looking to try and set play onto A. It's away, going to be tossing in a smoke. It's just Glocks, though.
Not easy at all here. Hunter, spray down. I was going to say, you'd love to see him kind of just get a kill and fall back, but he was fully committed to it. Bomb plant being attempted and denied as well. Nerds showing up with Mattis throwing the smokes over the flashbangs over the smoke. So no bomb plant here. Pretty good stuff. The fact that Hunter dies doesn't really matter at all anymore. Yeah, sometimes maybe they really pissed him off, Vince, from setting him on fire so many times on Dust 2. Maybe that's what kind of got him. Tired of burning to the Molotovs. In fairness, he set himself on fire at the time, but... also true. But yeah, that'll do it. No one wants to have their feet burned off. So Sunpius, understandable. The most, what is it they say? The most valid crash out? Is that it? That's Sunpius right now. Yeah, you know, turn that anger into something productive. Come back and see if you get your revenge. That's certainly what's happening at this very moment. Now, I was advertising this T side for PVISION, so let's see if you know, it's all fake news from my side, or if we're actually going to see some good stuff here. Mid-take, while flashed in, it's Nota to try and find the opening, and he's got a lot of control in there for just being one person. He himself, I think they smoked the red room, he Molotov that close cubby position on the right-hand side, and now he's applying a lot of pressure, and in theory, it is keeping a lot of people away from the B-bomb side right now, so you see if they find the right timing window to hit. G2 are in the dark a bit. They don't really know what's happening anywhere on the map.
Yeah, that's a problem that PowerVision had multiple times on their CT side, and it definitely cost them in the end. So no one out for the fact-finding missing just yet. They're also sat in with Cave. Is that Mattis? It has a grenade out? Is it a smoke, I think?
I don't think that's good. Yeah, definitely not going to work.
You want a second player with you, right? So you can at least have the opportunity to kill a player, then throw the smoke. Like, just standing there with the smoke out, like that's wild. That's crazy.
I feel like even if you spot them and you let go of the smoke perfectly, they can still run you down before you get the rifle out. I'm fairly certain. Yeah. So I always hesitate to question something like that because that's one of those things where obviously, you know, them being pro players, they obviously know the game, and especially stuff like that better than we do. But it does seem a bit silly. It seemed like that was not going to ever work out. I'm going to go investigate. That's one of those things where, like, I'm going to go find some demos later on and figure out exactly, like, how often does that actually work? How many people have tried that? Interesting choice, nonetheless.
Yeah, it could have just been a read. Like, maybe Hunters made a read that PowerVision were going to go for some more of, like, a mid sort of slow play. But it's the fact that Mattis is completely alone in Cave. Nobody is playing off the site. They're playing passive off the site. So even if he didn't get pushed from Cave, there would be a moment where he's getting flanked from the back from the site itself, and no one would have been able to help him anyway. So whichever way you spin it, that's a real rough round. I guess the good news is, because it was only Mattis that got picked off early, they're able to save 3 players, so they can run it back now into this round. But yeah, it seems like a weird sort of coin flip 50-50 to go for. I guess you've got rounds to play with, so maybe now's the best time to go for that play.
Let's see. We're in the 16th round. There's still a lot to be played for here. Oh, look at Cello. It's moving up straight into the incendiary. I adore this kind of a play. He's going to get the opening too. Like I said, in the first half, I hate it when you take your eyes off that B ramp. And James got done in a very similar way, if you remember, by the Mac 10 rush from Heavy God. I just think trusting in that one incendiary it's a quick way to give up a round. And I guess case in point, I'm glad that they're proving that point, right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're G2, you're at least somewhat happy that you concede the round, but you're saving a lot of plays again. But you are allowing PowerVision a lot of lifelines now. Like, we came into this at 9-5. It looked incredibly grim for PowerVision. They've essentially just got 2 free rounds off the basis of 1 pick. So at what point did G2 try and, fight back into this, adapt to this play? Like, try and fight for ramp control, maybe. Try and get up middle and go heaven like we saw James doing a bunch of times with the AWP and having a ton of success with it.
Oh, it's definitely possible, and especially now that you've already exploited the once, you know that there is going to be that option later on. Even they might be a little bit worried for the first couple of rounds, but timeout called. G2 want a chance to discuss the situation. It was a 7-5 first half in favor of G2, and then they came in and had a good start to the half here. But like I said, this T side for PVISION is not to be underestimated. I think, I always thought it was going to be a little bit better than the CT side. So the fact that they only got 5 rounds in the first half, it's not immediately alarming to me. And I also mentioned this right at the start of getting into Ancient. PVISION do prefer the B-bomb side by a significant margin. So very interested to see how they will make this work, and if they're going to commit to more of this. If they can punish Heavy God, who's having a bit of a tough game potentially on this third map, and he's going to be anchoring that, that's a good ticket to get some early rounds. Well, this time Heavy God is pushing the A extremities, and they're going to be boosting, or not boosting, but stacking with the rifles over on the other side. In fact, turning into a bit of an aggressive stack. Slightly desperate for G2, but I don't hate the plan. Sometimes you've got to do something desperate if you don't have all the weapons and the utility here. Hunter is fading in through the smoke. I can't believe they've dodged each other. Now he hears the gunfire on the other side, so going to come back and take a look. He's got Mattis with him.
Yeah, Noda is staring in there. Mattis has been picked off, but it's all a ruse, and it allows Hunter to stalk Jello and Nota, and he also manages to cross to the other side, so they're not even sure where he is at this point. Now, he can act as that pivot point for the rest of the CTs to move in. They daren't go into cave because Hunter is still there, present, nails another headshot, having a fantastic round individually, and getting his team into some success finally on the CT side again. Barring a J Masterclass 1v3, this round should be a done deal. First kill does go his way, though. There is a chance with 30 seconds and the bomb under his control. He could maybe do this. Oh, he's been denied.
Yeah, Hunter with the quad kills. Chaotic fight towards the cave there. I must say, Heavy God, that actually is a significant mistake. He doesn't need to peek that. You're absolutely right. It immediately offers an opportunity. And James, even smartly, he ran to middle and then turned around to fight Hunter because he knew Hunter was going to hear the footsteps, which is some classic James stuff. And if not for the fact that it was a teammate there, you never know how that's going to be playing out. But yeah, good stuff on Hunter. But there was a real opening there. Heavy God, only with the pistol, of course, but now he's got something better. 10-7, and it's Belchanok being thrown into the middle. They do have a lot more players here. They've got the mid control already. I was a bit worried they were stuck on top of each other there for a potential grenade to come through. But yeah, they win the mid fight without too much trouble here, PVISION.
Mad respect to Hunter as well, man. We discussed how he can still be that fragging IGL. 14 kills, 4 in the last round. It's really Heavy God that's trailing behind. You wouldn't have expected that after that Mirage performance. Hunter keeping them in a good, strong position. Sun Pius nails the shot onto Nota. That's going to alleviate some of the pressure that was building up on Heaven.
Yeah, and Nota is going to be a lot that mid player a lot of the times for PVISION, so it's not the most exciting thing to find him. Like, he's in the position that you kind of expect him to be. If it had been somebody else, it would have been more of an indication of what was happening potentially on the map. They do have a 3-man setup at the B bomb site, so they are fairly well locked in. Heavy God has got a smoke, so if they Molotov this position, he should be able to keep himself alive just to get a little bit of more time. And speaking of time, there's only 30 seconds here. Mattis has decided the smoking that corner is not the right way to go. Oh, smoke is not meant to land there. It's a nice idea if you can block off that that back wall and maybe try and pretend like you're going to the A bomb site through the middle. But they still get the openings. James and Cello, and now cracking open Heavy God's skull. 3 people defending, and none of them answering back with anything like a kill. That's very disappointing for G2. That's a kind of round I think that's hard to deal with if you're on the defensive side. Like, you had the kind of setup that you were looking for.
Yeah, you were in the perfect positions to receive that very play. 2 players in cave, a bait and switch between Mattis, who's up close, and Hunter was behind him. You don't get either of those kills, all right, fair enough. But then Heavy God doesn't get a kill on the approach either. It's a really rough go of it. Sun Pius again asked to get as many exit frags as possible, up to 20 kills to his name now. But yeah, if you're G2, you are bitterly disappointed with how this round came down, because that is the exact play that you were setting up for. You were hoping they pushed in cave like that, and you still got wrecked.
Very, very tough time at the moment. The idea of throwing that deep smoke, like, I'm pretty sure that smoke is meant to block off the B side of middle of that red room position, so that the CT side is going to think you're splitting through red room into CT spawn and A. The smoke failed, but the entries were just so good that it didn't even matter, which kind of is a theme that we were following on Dust 2, right? All this failed smokes from PVISION, and they still get the opening kills, so none of it really even matters. Here we go in the middle. Belchanok's going to be thrown in. Nuts on the other side. An expert, if ever there was one, on fighting middle, but it's going to be... Is that a leg shot coming out onto Belchanok? I'm not even sure, but regardless, he's low on health.
Now, credit as well, by the way, in that last round, we didn't see it from Jello's point of view. He landed a couple of beautiful entry frags. Like, sure, you can definitely cast a bit of doubt towards G2, but Jello, that was phenomenal stuff. Flick across. Did he get saved by the wooden plank?
He probably did, yeah. Oh, that's going to be a slow-mo replay if we can get that. Very interesting stuff. Because they were baiting it out, and I think Sun Pius realized that he was getting baited. Like, they kept on dealing on the right-hand side. Jame now going for it again, but Sun Pius stands his ground and takes down the enemy sniper. Wants to back on out of there before anything else happens. It's Nota in the middle. Takes down Mattis. Jump across there. They've definitely been spotted. And again, the clock is running down a little bit low. The bomb is all the way on this side. It's not too late to go to the A-bomb side, but, you know, 10 more seconds like this, and they are going to start to commit to this B-bomb side no matter what. The question is, can Sunpires save the team once again? He's got 21 kills. You mentioned it earlier, Vince. He's been doing such a great job, but he took his eyes off the B ramp, and now they're going to be on top of him. He does get another kill. Down sub 30 seconds, and the backup is starting to get there. Sunpires might have done enough here. A smoke on top, 20 seconds. That bomb plant needs to happen right about now. Nota in the grave now, and they want to push Sunpires. Cello is low on health here. It might be all up to Sway to try and see if he can clutch this one.
Oh, Jello's now all alone. Had some amazing shots. There's the first, but it was never looking like it was possible for him to get close to clutching. And that's G2 moving to 11-8 in the lead. 2 rounds away from an elimination of ParaVision.
Counter-terrorists win.
Ooh, that is a little bit worrisome there. They had their moment. Like, the timing actually worked out very well for ParaVision. They're pushing into 1 AWD with, I think, about 3 or 4 players. And unfortunately, one thing is they can't kill him, but they lose a player here. If they could at least trade out Sunpires there and just get a kill on him, then they have a much safer bomb plant. It's a very different round. Did not work out that way. G2, they continue moving forward. Remember, it's elimination on the line. If you lose this map, you're going to get knocked out of PGL Astana. Nobody wants to see that on either side here. Both G2 and ParaVision feel like they deserve to be in the playoffs. We heard the interview beforehand with how much it would mean to the Stan to be able to represent in front of the home crowd. They need to really lock in right now for that to happen.
And this probably is their last chance. No real money behind this. Sunpires missing out on that shot. Looked like it was on to me. I don't know if he maybe twitched just before he pulled the trigger. But an uncharacteristic miss for a guy that's had an amazing map performance here. So we'll let him off. Smoke placed perfectly. Keeps the tease away.
Keeps the teams away as well. I'm so confused. There's nobody holding the B bomb side. Like I said, ParaVision love this bomb side. Now you end up playing it as a retake instead. It's not impossible. They do have a little bit of utility. Those 2 grenades from Hunter could be everything. Wait a minute, hold the phone. Nerds to the smoke. He's going to find an early kill, and now the bomb is finally planted. But that actually could be significant. Sunpires and Heavy God, they can't even get out of the bomb side there. Nota and Sway, they wanted to escape back onto the ramp to try and hold that bomb for as long as possible. And like I said, the couple of grenades left here, they could be everything. Hunter throwing one in. It's going to be an incendiary as well on top. Another smoke even in the back pocket here. How do they stop this defuse from coming through? They're all on top. They're blocking each other so that they can't be wall banged down, but that might not work. Cello! He finds 2. More damage coming through, but they're seconds away from the defuse. Oh, again! Another wall bang as they save the round.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Nerds may have denied the bomb plant before, but they had the perfect pixels for the wall bangs. Unreal escape from almost certain death. Jello with 2, and then Jame posts up from the ramp side and nails the rest with Jello once more. Unbelievable. They know they were on the brink of defeat. That's just given them a huge chance to bounce straight back into this match. And it's put the economy of G2 in the bin in the process.
Oh, it doesn't get any wilder than that. The full committal to the defuse from G2 twice, and it looked like it was going to work the second time. You could tell milliseconds away from picking up that defuse and quite possibly knocking ParaVision nearly out of the tournament. The money would have been low. The momentum would have been with G2. The retake was looking very nice indeed. They had all the grenades. They smoked everything. And they were even standing in front of the defusers to try and make sure that the bullets just don't connect nearly as much. And even that's somehow not enough. But this is where the drama really begins. Round number 21. And we're going to see some early pressure towards B, but it looks like a bit of a ruse. They do go B so much that there's a... Oh, my God, it's one more. That's what? That's the 5th wallbang that he's got in the last 2 rounds? What is he doing? Somebody stop him.
Oh, man. Dastan gave him a good talking to, and now Jello is like, all right, I'll show you, old man. Yeah, Mattis gets peppered through the wooden panels. Now Now Heavy God's got a chance there. P9 sprays out, but it's a bit too premature. Belchernot punishes him. Now no one's on A site. Because of that kill onto Mattis, they all rotated off.
Unbelievable. He's playing like a man that's got a Kazakhstani coach with a belt on his back. That's exactly what is happening. So he's fully motivated to get every kill imaginable. And a really ratty position here for Cello as well, in the best possible way. They are reading the situation well, G2. But to be honest, James could change his mind again. It's not even impossible that they could rotate back. This is wild.
This
35 seconds.
May precede them though, right, Hunters? Like, they've gone beast so often, it's an obvious call.
It doesn't matter. Just making it work. But you're right, though. They did read it. Like, they had the stack going on there at the B bomb site. None of it matters. PVISION fully locked in. Back into the game. The second half, it was hard to get started, but it is working for them. Oh, Matters never stood a chance here. That is a hard way to go. 10-11. They're clawing their way back. Remember, they had almost no money coming into some of these rounds. I mean, this is as close as you can get right now. Now it's going to be a little bit more exciting. Oh, look at the G2 side. USPs. One flashbang on Hunter. This better be the best flashbang of all time.
Well, if they can find the right timing, it can maybe make it a little bit costly. You know, you take a player out, get an AK, and then who knows what happens. Again, they're going to be anticipating the B play. They're going for the wall bangs again. Zello's done this multiple times over. Flash through. No one's really home, though. They're at longer range where the USPs are going to not be able to stand really against the AKs. Hunter does get the one kill, but that's all. And so this is going the distance. 11-11. We will have all the rounds in regulation. And it would not surprise me if we need more in OT afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of the dream for a game that's been this mad and with this much on the line too. G2 haven't played their best tournament yet, but we've seen glimpses of it even in this series. To begin with, it was Heavy God. He's disappeared a bit from the game since, but we definitely know that they've got something here. Sampai is playing very well on this third map. So it would be fun to see G2 advance forward into the tournament. PVISION again, a team that's been kind of on deep waters for a while. There's a lot of talk about kind of like who's staying, who's getting cut, what's going to happen post-major. But right now, they need to make it work. We're not post-major yet. We're leading into it. So they've got to find a way to repair this team and to make them look like what they really could, which you're starting to see a little bit of it here once again. Cello obviously with 20 kills, fighting for his spot into the future. The game is tied, 11-11, and we've got a couple of rounds left in regulation.
M4s are plenty over on the G2 side of things, but they are lacking quite a bit. No kits, as far as I can see. Lack of utility, only the 2 HEs. You can see here there are last 3-month team comparison on Ancient, 10-2, or G2, or a 7-2. We talked about how confident both teams are on this map, how good their percentages are. Some notable wins as well against top flight opposition like Spirit and Falcons.
Yeah. Another couple of teams that are going to be hard to fight going into the later stages if you can make it through here. Nice grenades in the middle, but even better in return. Those T-side nades to stop the TCs. Oh, look at this. Nerds and Hunter get a kill each. Cello's fighting for the headshot. He'll get the one, but he couldn't shut down Hunter, who's still fragging. Through the smoke, he reads it. He knew they were coming for him. A triple kill for the captain. And that leaves James in a very tough position. G2 look to be cementing, at a minimum, the overtime point here. See if they can make it past. The money's good enough for PVISION to buy in the next round. I guess that's kind of a silver lining here, but they couldn't win the mid-fight.
Hunter not going down the ship just yet. Phenomenal 3K. But good teamwork from Nerds as well. The two of them being a dynamic duo, locking down this round. And now James is playing to see if he can maybe get a couple of kills on his way out, because he'll know that G2's money, not ideal. If he can get a couple of kills out of this, it can have consequences for G2 into the next one. They'll be missing a couple of grenades here and there. Maybe missing out on an AWP again. So let's see what James got in store. 22 health to his name, Molly and Flash, but he doesn't want to give his position away. Well, now he has. Molotov's going to be tossed in. He's going to get wide swung any second now from Mattis as he tries looking for Hunter, and it's going to be Sampaio. Who else? 24th kill to the Spaniard as he gives a match point, an elimination point in favor of G2.
Great discipline for Mattis. I mean, you're right. He definitely could have just wide swung him as well, but they want to make absolutely sure here. Hunter, though, the man of the hour, as he, like, that first kill's very labored. He gets a chance to go for a little bit of a second kill, but this is where it really gets good. Finds a quick triple. Sampaio, that's a wild shot from his point of view, actually. Here we go. It's round number 24, and we are seeing a failed run boost, and actually a peek from Nota. This is kind of dangerous, but the flashes didn't connect. Wait, Belchak never threw the flashbangs. He's in T-spawn with 2 flashes. Unless he picked up more of them, I think that might have been some real miscommunication. Oh, we're going to have to go check the demo on that one. Hunter with the spray down. Belchak goes down for the smoke. PVISION, they fought so hard to get back here. Not the best first half for them, but the second half has looked very strong, and they might be cut short right here as there are 2 men down looking to attack this B bomb site. And the longer they wait, the worse it's going to get because Nerds is in the A hallway, so they know that no one's attacking the A bomb site right now.
What a horrendous way to lose this would be, Anders.
Oh, yeah.
Not throwing basic utility on a mid-play when you've just been wrecked by that exact same outcome. G2 now, multiple bodies in perfect positions. A crossfire that looks way too deadly to deal with, but Jame has stood tall and delivered for one.
Finds the first one. Molotovs are raining in. Good flashes. Sampaio is out of it. The super weapon for the G2 side. It matches. Oh my god, it's way to hit the headshot. I can't believe that works out. Hunter goes down next, and Nerds now with a 1 versus 2. Coming in all the way from the A hallway, straight into the orb of Jamie. Finds a triple and a sigh of relief as we go into overtime. PVISION, they convert that 3v5, and it's hard to understand how. Great shots from James, great flashes, obviously, but that felt like G2 could have closed the book on PVISION right then and there.
Yeah, I mean, it's really well done by PVISION in sort of the 11th hour, the dying embers of their Astana tournament. But you've got to look at G2 and think, guys, you had 3 players in B with a crossfire that could not have been better placed. And you've lost the round without killing a single one of the remaining 3 Ts. How can you justify that? Yes, Jame lands a nice shot, but then it's just so disjointed.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be a question that they're gonna be asking themselves, especially if they end up losing this one. How did we let go of that 3v5? We had the bomb site on lockdown. We even knew that they were coming because, like I said, Nerds was the early warning system over at the A bomb site. A little celebration from Dastan in the back. I wish we could have a permanent Dastan camera that just only shows him somewhere. Oh, it's so exciting. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the B stream, and PVISION versus G2 have made overtime on the 3rd map here. Elimination on the line in Astana. If you lose, you get to go home, and nobody wants that. Both orgs fighting to get some more recognition and to make these squads really work at a high level. Let's see what we can get here. They've been going B so much, PVISION, that you gotta feel like they can start to maybe just take a look in towards the A bomb site every once in a while, like see if anyone's home over G2.
Surprisingly as well, the 2 players that have kind of gone absent are Heavy God and Mattis, 2 typically very strong ancient players. I suppose you could spin that in a positive, that if either of them come online, then G2 have some very powerful pieces that are yet to get involved. Damage inflicted to Nota, but they have still gone up middle. Jame is taking point for his team. He's alone with the orb. Getting into Red Room. This is such an aggressive play from him.
It's a wild thing to be taken upon your shoulders this late in the game, saying, I'm pushing Red Room alone. If I miss a shot, I'm probably going to be dead. But now he's holding a deep angle, and this is actually really cool. They lose Sway, though, trying to connect with Jame. They wanted to rotate through on over towards Donut there, Or at least I think that's the plan. There's very little time. James goes down. Such an advanced position, and it looks like they're making none of it here. Nota's low on health. The round is over. They can't get on this. There's no chance. 10 seconds left. They're still trying to run up there. Sunpius does go down, but Heavy God peeking in for a quick double and turns it into a triple spray. If he is going to come back, like you said, that's the one outside thing that could really tip this in favor of G2 is if he comes alive. And traditionally, he's mega good at this map. So it's a bit of a mystery how he's been missing so much. Maybe overtime is all he needed.
Uh-oh. Did you just wake the slumbering giant, ParaVision? Did you just play into the arms of Heavy God? I don't even hate that call. Like, some people are going to give James a lot of shit for that, but I genuinely quite like that play. It's just that they got picked off by Sunpius when they were trying to look to explode onto the B site. It happens. Flashes are good. Counter flashes there as well. Everyone fully blinded. But Hunter, once again, gets 2 from the mid push.
Oh, that's not the first time. You're right. Huge impact. Countering all of the flashes coming over, hugging the wall so that he's got limited exposure. Zillow is here. Could he find some way back into the round? It's another 3v5. They won one of these ParaVision to get this into OT, and Zillow wants to do more. His 22nd kill. Round the corner. It's one more headshot, but then Heavy God quickly converts with a double of his own. And James now across the map, too far away. Oh, that flashbang stopped Cello from getting the triple. I think that would have been an option for him. He was looking locked in. But Heavy God, triple in the last one, double in this one. He's suddenly up to 14 kills.
He has awoken, and he has arrived. And that will be sending a collective tingle down the spine of ParaVision. Because for so long, he was not a feature, not a factor on this map, but 5 kills in the last 2 rounds. And now Jane can do little but try and hold on to his AWP. There won't be much to play around alongside it. What a horrible position to be in. It looked like G2 were going to have just enough power in their punch to KO ParaVision in regulation, but they decided they needed a few more combos to get the job done. And now all that pressure is on ParaVision's shoulders.
Saving the AWP. I mean, there's no other choice, unfortunately. So you can type away all the memes that you want, but this is the correct decision for James. Yeah, Heavy God coming alive, but Hunter carrying the weight of those entries in the middle. Sunpius with 25, but Hunter is up to 23. Wild that they are making this work now, G2. And again, just to reiterate, the T side is probably the better side here for ParaVision. So losing the first 2 rounds here in OT, that actually is an issue. If it was any other team, I'd say, well, it's probably not a big deal because they're going to switch to the CT side, and that's where they're going to do more work. But I don't think it's true in ParaVision's case. They must get this next round over the line, or I think they're not going to have enough to carry on through. Round number 16. Let's see how this one plays through. Well, first to 16, sorry, I don't say round number 16. I'm reading the numbers, things. That's why. I'm like Anchorman, just reading whatever is in front of me. That's dangerous.
That's very dangerous, yeah. Especially if you're looking at Twitch chat. Right, yeah. Yeah, don't do that to yourself, Anders. Don't get cancelled, brother. G2 in the meanwhile, though, we're going to be looking to try and focus on trying to read a script from ParaVision. We know they love to go on that B site, and once again, they're setting up for it. All 5 players, they've given up any map control outside of A or middle. G2 aren't privy to this information, but ParaVision still need to push into cave, and with a lack of utility, you feel like it's going to need to be like an entry frag here that really sets them off.
Silo doesn't even have the rifle to spam any wall bangs with this time. That's a bit of a shame. I like that idea of planting and just trying to wall bang the defuse. It was entertaining to say the least. 55 seconds, they're on the site. And once again, G2 very deliberately playing this like a retake, which again, there's so much utility. I don't hate the idea, even if it failed that one time with the wall bangs. But now the bomb is being planted. Belshot very nearly getting crisped alive in there. Silo goes down 4 versus 5. Nerds continuing on. Again, the utility is so overwhelming as they try to retake the site. Belchanok wanted to catch as he was jumping up there, Nerds, but it's not going to be possible. They only suffer 1 casualty in Heavy God. It's a near perfect retake coming out here from G2.
Man, I've got to give so much props and respect to Hunter's performance here, man. Like, he has been sort of like the spearhead of all of these middle hits, but he's also been omnipresent on the periphery of the map, like coming through with so many clutch kills, up to 86 ADR, but 6 multi-kill rounds, 4 opening duels with 0 in return. He has been such a difference maker in this game. And not to say that Sun Pius is like completely cooled off, but he was like just out of the gates in that first half. Now Hunter is nearly equal with him in terms of frags.
This is a huge bonus to the G2 side, having Hunter perform on this level. But now, let's see, G2 going to be back on the T side. It's PVISION with a need to win 3 in a row. And remember, in regulation, they only got 5 rounds on the CT side. So winning all 3 right now, not going to be easy. G2 did hit A bomb side a lot, and I think that they're using that fact now. It's actually really clever. They're using the signaling that they did all throughout regulation to try and pretend like they're going A, and they probably wanted to catch James or somebody else in the middle, but he's not easy to catch. One of the more elusive players that we have in the scene. Gonna find the kill onto Nut instead. But I do like the theory. I'm fairly sure G2 were building on their own conditioning from the regulation. The bomb is still going to be planted at B. Vince, this could be very awkward. There are 2 Molotovs left. Oh, this is going to be a very weird round, potentially.
I think Sun Pius is going to be the make or break moment in this round. His long rotation. There's going to be multiple players pushing middle. Hold on a second. If Sun Pius can find the timing, this could be a massacre.
I think you're absolutely right. They're forced this way. Double Molotov pushed them this way. He's hearing the footsteps. Is anyone going to be looking? They do turn around, and he can't get the spray. Still a good headshot, and the pressure is on right now. They're running out of time here. This is a 5 versus 2 at one point, and they need to keep it going. Hunter with the shutdown. Sways hit the deck. Cello next. Oh no, PVISION. It could be all over right here. They had every advantage. They had the A-bombs had on lockdown, but not B. Heavy God with the final headshot as PVISION are knocked out of PGL Astana by G2 in overtime.
Well done to G2 to finally find the form to put down PVISION.